Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Whimsically Wicked, a reading duet. My name is Haley. I am the whimsical half.
And my name is Daria, and I am the wicked half.
This is another episode of our Zodiac Academy recap series, except we are taking a little bit of a turn.
Yep.
I have heard that the best way to read this series is to do Zodiac Academy 1 through 3, get involved with the characters and the world, pause, and come to this spin-off series that takes place about, I believe, 5 years prior to, I wrote it down, 5 years prior to the Zodiac Academy series starting. So this is like when, if you have read the first 3 Zodiac Academy books, this is when Lance O'Brien is at school.
Yes, he is at Zodiac Academy. This does not take place at Zodiac Academy, but there's some moments of overlap.
Yeah. So these series overlap. This is canon, and this series takes place at Aurora Academy, which you actually would have heard about in Zodiac Academy because they played pitball against Aurora Academy.
Yeah, and they lost.
Yes.
And it was a whole big deal because this is the shitty
private school.
No, this is like the public school.
Yeah, but this is like a shittier version of Zodiac Academy.
Yeah.
But it's still higher than some of the like public high schools that go on. Yeah.
It is the bottom of the barrel in gangland. The kids there really suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get going, please remember to give us a like, a subscribe, and a comment. We've been reading all of your comments on these past recap videos. They've been so sweet. We love responding to them. So please keep engaging with this video because it helps it get into the algorithm.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah. So, Ruthless Boys, obviously spoilers, and this is also a Why Choose series.
Yes.
So, if this Why Choose series just, like, wasn't your cup of tea and you didn't actually want to read the 5 books, I think it is?
Yeah.
We'll find out. This is a great recap series that we're going to be doing to make sure that you can get caught up with the world. But Daria really loves this series.
I like this more than Zodiac Academy by like leaps and bounds. I think it's better written than Zodiac Academy. I think the storyline makes more sense than Zodiac Academy. I like the characters more than Zodiac Academy. They're less infuriating in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough.
Like they're still dumbasses, don't get me wrong, but they're also like 21.
Right.
20.
What I will say is that this is my first ever Why Choose book.
Yes.
I've never read a Why Choose, so if you don't know what Why Choose is, it's like one girl, well, it's a reverse harem?
Reverse harem. So one girl, many other humans with one center person.
Yeah.
This one is straight.
Right.
And I know the boys don't bang each other in this one either.
Oh, interesting.
Like Leo, obviously.
Yeah.
Tries.
Yes.
Because he's him. But the rest of them are not here for that.
Yeah. Okay, so what book 1 is, at its core, is a murder mystery.
Yes.
Elise, who is going to be our main character, her brother has died. This is Gareth. He's a little Pegasus boy. Her brother has died at the academy in his second year of being at the academy. And so Elise, we're going to talk about it, but she ends up coming to Aurora Academy, and she is trying to investigate who killed Gareth. So at its core, it's a murder mystery, but it kind of is also a subplot. It takes us a while.
Yeah. I'm not about to say they got better at sticking to the plot.
Yeah.
In this, they did.
Yeah.
But it's still a little bit more prevalent than the nymphs are in the other one.
Totally. We do some time jumps, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do time jumps between Elise and some of the other boys here perspectives in present day. And then we're also going to go back about 1.5 years to Gareth's last 1.5 years at the academy. So we're going back and forth. And I honestly, I don't know how long it goes for, but spoiler alert, we don't find out who killed Gareth at the end of this book. So it's a subplot. The series will get us there, but this book will not.
Yeah, it'll take its usual amount. There's 5 books.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to wait to the 5th book to figure out what happens to him, but you do have to wait at least 2 or 3.
Yeah. I'm also not going to hold your hand through this book. I'm not going to give you a ton of the world building. I might remind you of a few things here and there, but we've already done that in Zodiac Academy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay plot and relationship focused as much as I can with some world building that we haven't gotten yet from Zodiac Academy. So if you need to go back, rewatch, reread, do your thing, and we will see you soon. Okay, are we ready to go?
I'm so prepared. I have my Aurora Academy Pitbull sweater on.
Adorable.
For context, it's 30 degrees here, and my AC is working overtime, and I'm hot.
Yeah, I don't know how you're wearing it.
And I have my hard copy. I have the original cover for this book because, in my opinion, it's prettier. They re-released it with, like, matching ones to Zodiac Academy. This is better.
Yeah. Her purple hair. Okay, so we are going to start chapter 1 off from Elise's perspective. Elise is right here in the middle. This is our main character. She has kidnapped some guy named Lorenzo, who is also high on a drug known as Killblaze. Now, we learn that Elise is this short, skinny girl, white blonde hair, down to her butt. She's got freckles, and she's also kind of tiny. That is what Elise looks like at the moment. She's trying to interrogate this guy, Lorenzo, to figure out what happened to her brother Gareth, who apparently died in his junior year at his time at Aurora Academy. Gareth's death was deemed an overdose on Killblaze. This drug becomes quite prevalent in this book.
Yeah.
So,
arguably the main plot.
Yes. So the FIB, aka the Fey Investigation Bureau.
Yep.
They have deemed his death an overdose on Killblaze, but Elise knows that cannot be true. She also hacked Gareth's emails, and she knows that he was meeting Lorenzo that night. So Lorenzo was like trying to get Gareth to join his gang or something like that. That was in Gareth's email records, and so she went to Lorenzo first to try and figure it out. Now, the reason she's so sure that Gareth would never do something like this is because they were brought up in pretty rough circumstances. Gareth was actually barely able to make it to the academy through a scholarship known as the Rising Sun Foundation, and while Elise probably also could have gotten in, her mom is not stable enough to handle both of them going. So Elise is staying at home at their local high school, which is like not even close to as good as the Aurora Academy, even though Aurora Academy is a lower ranking school.
Yeah.
And she also makes this comment that even his high Gareth's high that he gets from his Pegasus form, like on a rainbow, I guess Pegasus get like a nice little high because they're restoring their order.
Yeah, when they fly through the clouds and the rainbows and
so she's like, he can already get a high. He doesn't need Killblaze.
Yeah.
Something tells me that Killblaze is a little bit different than that, but
general euphoria is still happening.
Yeah. So Lorenzo is like screaming at her. He's not going to tell her anything. And we learn that Gareth is not actually Elise's brother. It's her half-brother.
Mm-hmm.
So Gareth's father, Elise's and Gareth's mom, fell in love with him, but ultimately ended up breaking his mom's heart less than a year after she had Gareth. And Elise's father had apparently been this very powerful vampire, but she doesn't really know anything about.
Yeah, they don't explore that too heavily.
Yeah, so we have this little thing. They have their mom, and then there's like random vamp dad, and there's the Tempa dad. Seth's last name is Tempa, and Elise's last name is Castillo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So during this interaction with Lorenzo, he tells her his family is going to destroy her. Lorenzo's family is going to destroy Elise. Like, I don't think Elise should be messing with Lorenzo because Elise knows this, Lorenzo is part of the Oscura clan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Oscura clan is a bunch of psychopathic werewolves that run half of the organization, organized crime in downtown Alestria. So the Oscura clan is a big crime family of werewolves, and like basically Elise should not be messing with them. We'll talk about the Oscura clan in a little bit. The Oscura clan, Elise knows, also has a rival clan.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Lunar Brotherhood. And those are the two big crime families in Alestria.
Yep.
Yeah. So, really the only thing that Lorenzo actually ends up telling her about the situation is that we don't know who he is, he'd kill me worse than you. He's the king of the academy. You can't even begin to compare. And then she beats him up and threatens that, like, I will find your breaking point, but he does not plan on letting her do this. So he tells her not to pull at this thread. It is not worth the danger for her going down it, because he also wishes that he never pulled at this thread. He then uses his water magic to create a shard of ice through his heart to kill himself. She leaves the corpse knowing nobody will trace it towards her because of the kill blaze, and she is dedicated to finding this king of the academy, and that is how our story begins. 2 weeks later, chapter number 2, also with Elise. I should add that Elise is a Libra. This is important to the story.
Yeah, Zodiac stuff is very important.
She has air magic because she's a Libra. And her order is a vampire. So, Elise has figured out a way to transfer herself over to the Aurora Academy. She had to prepare quite a bit for this. She sold off her mom's ruby engagement ring that Gareth's father had gotten her so that she could pay for a wellness center for her mom. So we know that Elise's mom is, like, not well. We don't know particularly why, but she knows she had to put her in a wellness center. She could not handle Elise being away. She also worked to ensure that nobody at the academy would know that she's Gareth's sister. It helped that, like, they didn't really look alike. She was pale blonde. She took after her father, where Gareth was dark and had really strong features. And she also knows that he only would have ever referred to her as Ella, would have never called her Elise. So that also helps. But to take some extra precaution, she cut off all of her long blonde hair to make it more of like a bob, just as a precaution, and then dyed her hair lilac purple. And obviously they also have last names. So as of right now, nobody at this academy will know.
Yeah, even if they'd seen her before, they probably wouldn't clock it.
Yeah. So then she used her mom's employer, who is Old Sal, will also become pretty important in this story, to hack into the Academy's databases to get them to offer Gareth's scholarship to her. And she was on her way. She gets up to the gates to open up into Aurora Academy, and I quote, huge guy with sun-kissed skin and long beach blonde hair steps out to greet her. She immediately starts checking this guy out, right? Like, yeah. It takes 2 seconds, but she knows who this is. But in her mind, she just has to think about what his hair would look like after sex first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Because it's luscious.
Luscious. But she already knows who this person is, because when Lorenzo had let it slip that he was scared of the king of the academy, she was like, slam dunk, I'll just find out who the king of the academy is. That should be pretty obvious.
You think easy.
The Aurora Academy currently held 4 kings of the academy, right? But this one is named Leon Knight. She has done research on all 4 of these men, so she already has some preconceived understanding of who they are. She currently suspects Leon Knight, who is right here with his blonde, luscious hair. It
is nice hair.
Yeah, it is good hair. But she suspects him the least, okay? So after some social media stalking, he is a Nemean lion, so Leon the lion. And generally, like, quite late. He just doesn't show up to things on time. And also, he's a Leo.
So, this is so funny. I have an employee named Leo.
Oh, that's right.
Who is a Leo.
Yeah. This is Leo the Leon the Leo lion.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Leon the Leo lion.
Yeah. It's good. I love how unserious all of it is.
Truly. You can't take these too seriously. No. You will not have fun. Okay, so Leon, the Leo lion, is also a thief. His family, the Knights, were a very powerful family of thieves. But he's, like, standing there, he's being like, hello, and he's clearly expectantly waiting for her to recognize him, the name, and the famous parents he has. She, though, pretends like she has no idea. She just bluffs him off. She's like, oh, never heard of him.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, Leon, the Leo lion, shows Elise around campus. All of their buildings are named after the Celestial Council. You get some, like, little nuggets, like the Altair Halls, the Vega dormitories, the Acrux Courtyard. Like, it's all named after the Celestial families and the dead royals. And he just gave her, like, a very brief overview. And it was Sunday, and campus was also really quiet. So Leon's, like, in his school uniform. She's very kind of unclear about why one of the kings of the academy would be chosen to show her around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Elise. Nobody really knows who she is, right? So he shows her the school leaderboard that ranks Fae from the most to the least powerful based on strength, skill, with their element, how well they perform in class, keep control of their order form, those types of things, right? Elise is obviously last at the moment.
Dante would also be, not Dante. What's his face from Zodiac Academy would be last. Order form boy.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Tantrum.
I think Ryder, because they're the same person.
Yeah.
Darius.
Darius.
Yeah,
There's
Darius
the D name.
Acrox. He would also be at the bottom.
The bottom
he
of
throws
it.
tantrums. And Leon's actually at 12. Very, very impressive. This is kind of like the house points from Zodiac Academy.
Yeah.
They never come up, and we only like sometimes hear how things are going. But nobody seems to really care there. So they walk outside, and Leon immediately starts stripping. He like starts taking off his clothes and just starts groaning. And we learn that this is how lions replenish their magic.
Yeah, because they're big kitty cats. They gotta go sunbathe.
Yeah. So he just like chucks his blazer at Elise, and she's like, no, and just drops it because he like clearly expects her to just carry it for him. Yeah, so he's like, what? And Leon's like, this is weird. I'm used to girls just like doing stuff for me because they're my pride with my lion pride. He's got a lot of charisma. So like girls just flock to do things for him. And Elise is like, no, thank you. I would not like to be part of your pride. I'm good.
It's very Seth coded with the pack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Acrex Courtyard, there are like two kind of there's three sections, but the two gangs have set out very clear boundaries. We will learn that these gangs truly hate each other, like old family hate.
Yeah.
Yes. And so they have boundaries. You don't go where my clan is. They have specific times of the gym that they go to so that they can avoid each other. Same time at like the cafeteria.
Yep.
They are not in the same place at the same time. There's very clear rules.
Which is just gonna get so entertaining as we go further.
Yeah, exactly. So there's picnic tables for the Oscura clan, there's bleachers for the Lunar Brotherhood, and then there's a hill called Devil's Hill, where if you choose not to be branded by either, you can go there. And there's also a place called No Man's Land, where everybody can kind of go. It's like,
They do have decorum.
Yes.
I can't remember what we were talking about that had something to do with gangs, and that might be a conversation I had with Abby, but like, they used to have decorum. There used to be rules of engagement. Yeah. And they have them.
Yes, they do. They very much do. So Leon has his fire magic from being a Leo. And Elise obviously is her Libra. She contains the air magic, and they kind of talk a little bit about that. It also is really uncommon for Fae to have more than one elemental magic, which is the opposite than what we see from Zodiac Academy, because this school just isn't as powerful. Like in Zodiac Academy, it is super normal. It's almost uncommon for people to only have one element.
Yeah, because it's the school you go to if you are powerful enough and all of that. Wow, he looks really big on camera. He is really big in real life. For context, my dog is sitting in front of me. For anyone listening.
Leon is also very flirty. He likes her. He thinks she's cute. She doesn't seem to hate it. She kind of like enjoys toying with him a little bit, for sure. So they go up to the Vega dormitories, and it turns out that Elise also manipulated her score, her like scores in class, because that helps determine dorms, to get really close to two of the kings that reside there. So she actually figured out a way to bunk with two of the kings.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah. She also sort of got her former roommate expelled, apparently, like the person who was actually in that room before. Judging, apparently terrible person that she got expelled, but who knows?
Oh, whatever. Yeah. You do what you gotta do, girl.
Yeah, so we do learn about the dormitories. The top 10 floors are the Oscura clan, the bottom 10 is the Lunar Brotherhood, and if you're not aligned with either one, they just scatter you throughout, basically. So Elise is on the 20th floor. And Leon is also like quite offended that when they entered the dormitories that Elise didn't open the door for him. Like, it's just that like he just expects.
Yeah, people just do this stuff without him.
Yeah. But to change the script a little bit, Elise also really likes it when he brings his arms up because his shirt comes up.
He's a pretty boy.
So there's something there. Okay, so the whole terrible tour of the school turns out just to be Leon serving detention. It was a bad tour. She doesn't really still know where anything is except for the main stuff. And it just ends up being detention. But he does introduce her to her room, which ends up being 666. Finds her schedule, books, atlas, and uniforms all in there. Leon also stole, like, a bunch of stuff. Like, he stole gum, 13 cents, a hand-drawn map by Leon, and the sunglasses that Elise was wearing from Elise during their tour. She had no idea.
He is very good at what he does.
Yes. So then she heads into the room to meet the next two kings of the school, and we are gonna head to chapter number 3. We're gonna go at this from Dante's perspective, who is one of the kings of the school. He is a Gemini. He also has air magic, and he is a dragon boy.
Dragon boy? We can't not have dragon boys.
Yeah. So Dante, who is right here, he is in his room turning over the gold medallion that he uses to replenish his magic. It is his family symbol. He is the next king of the Oscura clan, but current king of the Oscura clan at Aurora Academy. Mm-hmm. But he is, like, in line to take the throne of the entire Oscura clan. So it's a wolf symbol, and it reads, "A morte e ritorno." Definitely just messed up that Latin. Apologies. But it means to death and back in his native tongue.
Which is Fatalian, just saying.
Yeah. He's really beating himself up right now because his third cousin, a couple of times removed, died. Lorenzo. Lorenzo just died.
Poor Lorenzo.
Remember Lorenzo, who Elise just killed? He's really mourning Lorenzo right now because of his addiction to Killblaze. He's supposed to be the future leader of the Oscura clan, and he feels very responsible to his family, so he's really sad. Lorenzo was only, like, his third cousin or something like that, which actually gets, like, there's some plot holes with that, because here they say he's the third cousin, but then it ends up kind of getting shattered, so we don't really know. It's a little plot hole, but that's fine.
Yeah, they're the Italian mob.
Yes.
They're very family-oriented.
Yeah. So, that is Dante, and Gabriel ominously walks past. Now, what's kind of shared about Gabriel, because this is a new character as well, is that he is very swift and very quiet. He's a Harpy. So the Harpies are, like, pretty swift and quiet and things like that. And so he's kind of just, like, into the shadow. He's kind of like an Ezreal from...
Yeah, he's just there.
Yeah. He's like a shadow daddy.
He's hidden a little bit.
Yeah, a little bat boy.
He's a little bat boy. He got wings.
So, Gabriel is a Harpy. He's way over there. And in Dante's opinion, has a serious attitude problem.
That's valid.
Is super valid. He has an attitude problem. Yeah. He basically barely says, like, 12 words a month and always walks around half-shifted with his wings just, like, outstretched and everywhere. But Gabriel's the most powerful Fae in the school because he has 2 elemental powers. And, like, doesn't even understand why he goes here, kind of thing. Like, he could get into Zodiac Academy if he wanted.
Yeah.
But he's here.
Gabe is one of my favorite characters in the entirety of Zodiac Academy, and we'll get into that in 6 books after we finish this, because...
He's not great in these ones.
Yeah. I promise, by the end of the 4th book of Zodiac Academy, you'll love him.
Great. Okay, and we also meet Lainey, who is the last roommate in this 4-bedroom dorm, and she is just, like, way up her. Her name is just written out there. So, as Dante is telling Gabriel how he could eat him in his order form because he's annoyed by him, and I quote, hot-ass angel walked in the door. Dante did not miss her gaze checking out his bare chest, and Dante immediately tries to put the moves on her. And because Dante is an electric dragon, static starts, like, rising in the room, and Gabriel basically tells the new girl that he does that when he's turned on, and he also does that when he's being an asshole. And he also does it when he's happy. So basically, like, the static never stops. Dante's just
always a little charged.
Yeah. So Dante then throws a shoe at Gabriel. It's a whole thing. So Elise, we know it's Elise. To Dante, this is just New Girl. New Girl pretty much just walks over to Dante's bed and starts putting all of her stuff on Dante's bed. And he walks over and just yanks her hair. So she spins, tries to bite him, and they get into like a little air magic fight, and Dante is immediately obsessed with her, but Elise is like clearly baiting him.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, yeah, just keep doing that, but like, I don't care about you. So Lainey introduces herself. She's a low-powered sphinx. She's gay, which is Dante's words, not mine. Super gay, and about 4'11", total book nerd. We also learned that through Dante that Gabriel has something called the sight. So the sight, we don't really know what that means, but it means that he has kind of like visions of the future.
Yeah, he's a seer.
Yeah. So I don't currently know exactly what that means, but that's what we know about it right now. Dante also has like a little tantrum when Elise pretends not to know that he is the alpha and the great-great-grandson of the founding between Oscura. And Gabriel is like, also, you know, there's like obviously this rival and things like that. Because Dante is trying to egg her on to choose. Like, I'm Oscura, don't go for the Lunar Brotherhood. Yeah. Oscura is better. And Gabriel's like, you could just like be your own person. Like, that's an option in this scenario too. Then Elise goes back to his bed, and basically what happens here is they end up having a little pinky promise of like, okay, Dante won't touch my ass, I won't bite him. So, yeah, that's their current agreement.
Which, you know what? That's probably a fair exchange.
It's the most consent that I've heard in any of these books so far, so good job. And that is their first interaction with each other. So currently we have Dante, we have Gabriel, and we have Elise, who is now their roommate with Lainey, who is just a little gay sphinx. We are going to do our first flashback. Chapter number 4 is going to be a flashback of Gareth, 18 months before the Solarid meteor shower. Gareth is not at the Aurora Academy yet. He is at a strip club called the Sparkling Uranus.
I fucking love these books so much.
And he's just waiting tables. And we actually do learn a little bit about Gareth and Elise's mom from here. She works at the Sparkling Uranus. And it has been a slow week. Basically meaning no money for groceries, no money for like much, and that's concerning Gareth. The boss's name is Old Sal, and she was like pretty generous in feeding them when they needed it, but that's kind of it. And otherwise, like, pretty much an awful human being, an awful boss, which is like the owner of a strip club, so I don't know what you expect.
Yeah, that's kind of par for the course.
Yeah, like, Old Sal has been trying to get Gareth on stage for money, and he was actually starting to think, like, I might take you up on it. We're struggling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as he's finishing up waiting tables, he actually overhears a conversation that Old Sal is having with his mom about a debt that she owes. It's up to 17,000 auras, and since she's getting old, she's not bringing in as much money as a stripper as she used to. His mom, also a Pegasus, so Pegasus stripper. Sal has another idea that Gareth is overhearing. Because Elise is almost 18, and because Elise has been, like, walking around when they have to get food or something like that, the patrons there are actually asking about Elise. And so Elise could just work for a year to clear her mother's debts. And Old Sal is also a siren. So she's kind of, like, egging his mom's emotions on to try and get her to agree to this.
You know what I actually really appreciate about the Dark Fae series when you read it in conjunction with the Zodiac Academy is it shows you the average ability of a lot of these orders. Like, Old Sal can kind of pull on your heartstrings, but nothing like Max can.
Exactly.
Like, she couldn't manipulate you into doing something you didn't already want to do, but she can make that choice easier for you to make.
Yes, exactly. You kind of see, like, what the realistic version of Zodiac Academy actually is.
Yeah.
The majority of the population.
Which is kind of explains why those guys are the giant a-holes that they are, who are just like, I walk all over the world, because they do.
They literally do, and they can.
Yeah.
So Gareth hears this and is like, absolutely not. Elise is doing this. And Gareth's mother kind of sounds like she's about to agree. So Gareth steps in and offers to pay his mom's debt to old Sal for her. And this becomes $2,000 every month for 1 year. And if you do the math, that is actually $24,000. But Sal, interest, right? Really...
Gotta bleed that stone dry.
Yeah. Well, and old Sal also wants Elise to work there, so she's not going to give all up.
Because Elise is probably worth more than $24,000.
Exactly. So then they strike a magical bond about it, and he is not allowed to miss payment. Otherwise, something happens with that magical bond. And that's a huge issue, because Gareth has no money. So
they do
he's
be
got to
broke.
figure that out. Yeah.
He do be a scholarship student.
He is a scholarship student.
To the shittiest academy.
Yeah. But he also knows that he goes to school with a lot of the rich, families of the Oscura and the Lunar Brotherhood. So he's like, there can be a way.
Yeah.
There's a way. And he's going to figure it out. Okay, going back to present day, chapter number 5, we're back to Elise's perspective. She is officially late to her first class because Leon gave her a terrible way around the school, and she can't find the potions class. Room 12, not easy to find. She eventually uses her vampire hearing to hear somebody talking about it and finds it downstairs. This is where she starts to refer to her lack of courage as a lack of balls between her thighs. And the reason I put it in here is because she refers to her courage in this book in relation to her balls 8 times in this book. Which, doesn't sound like a lot, but it's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I looked it up. She refers to them 8 times as, I got my balls back or something, over and over. Anyways, it was notable. And the reason she refers to that is because there's a banister that Leon had actually told her that is really fun to slide down the stairs on, and she almost does it, but then she doesn't. And so she's like, I have a lack of balls between my thighs. Anyways, she finally finds the room for her potions class, and Professor Titan is introducing himself. And also immediately introduces Elise to the entire class, which is super awkward and mortifying. In this class, though, there is someone else that she immediately recognizes, Mr. Ryder Draconis. He is the leader of the Brotherhood at the Aurora Academy and the 4th King. Ryder Draconis.
So, I know I said at the beginning of Zodiac Academy, Seth and what's his face? The blonde vamp. Wow, I really can't do names today. Caleb are my ride or dies. Fucking love Ryder.
Okay.
And again, it's not going to make sense until the end.
Yeah, I'm going to mock him a lot in this book, and I'm going to need you to not fight me about it.
Yeah.
Ryder is tall and broad and broody and has lots of muscles. So think Xaden Ryderson, Reese from A Court of Thorns and Roses. That is Ryder.
Yeah, it's also his whole personality for now.
Yep. So, to start with the description of Ryder, he has the word pain written across his knuckles.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
does.
1 letter for each knuckle. And on the other knuckles, he has the word lust.
Which makes more sense when you learn about his order form.
I guess. It's still broody and cringy.
Oh, yeah.
So Elise immediately meets Ryder's eyes, and they turn into these green reptilian slits, and all of a sudden she's taken into a vision. So Ryder walks up towards her, and she immediately gets super turned on, and he just starts stripping, and she's just like completely encompassed. She's like, oh my god. And Dante whispers over, being like, hey, has no one told you to not look into a basilisk's eyes? Because basilisks are able to hypnotize you into seeing fantasies. So here we are. We're in the middle of potions class. Ryder is sending sex fantasies to Elise. Elise is about to start touching herself in the middle of this class. Yeah. Dante's hand is on her thigh, warning her, and then Elise overpowers Dante and just starts feeding on him. Those are the events that we're starting with today. As she's feeding on Dante, Dante starts pulling her towards him and just seems to be enjoying it. And once she was done, he was like, damn, calm down and save it for the bedroom. The other thing that comes up here is that Dante has his own cup that he drags around everywhere because he's so paranoid about being poisoned. So it's just this
it's his magic cup.
It's his magic cup.
Which it actually is a magic cup, but yeah.
There you go. He's got a magic cup that he carries around everywhere. But yeah, so Dante and Elise are sitting next to each other. Ryder had just finished creating sex fantasies in Elise's brain. And then Elise fed on Dante, which is big, right? Because Elise is not as powerful as Dante, and she overpowered him while being overpowered by another fae. That's kind of...
There's an interesting threesome going on right now.
Yeah. So the biggest piece of this is obviously that Ryder, who is the head of the Lunar Brotherhood, and Dante, who is the head of the Oscura clan, are mortal enemies. So Dante does feel the need to speak into existence that when Ryder sent her sex fantasies, she still went to Dante. He's like, hey, you sent her sex fantasies, but she still came to feed on me, so...
Presently on his lap.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. Dante doesn't want the class to know that he got overpowered, right?
Yeah.
So he is spinning it in a direction of she came to me, she didn't overpower me. And when he looks at Elise kind of gets that idea that he's offering me a way out, because if I don't agree to this, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah, you can't live through that. That's not...
Yeah, so she's just like, okay, yes, it was lust, whatever. And she's also trying to gain that trust with him so that she can get close to him. So she goes along with it. This noticeably pisses Ryder off, and that will become a theme because Ryder is a very pissed off boy for most of this.
Yeah, he's only angst.
Yeah.
Exclusively angst.
Exclusively angst. So yeah, pain and lust for Ryder. He's a mad boy. And lab partners becomes a whole thing. Because Professor Titan says no changes, right? Yeah. So even though Elise is sitting next to Dante, a lovely girl named Cindy Lou comes up and is like, sorry, honey, Dante's my lab partner. And, Cindy Lou is obviously attracted to Dante. Elise is also attracted to Dante, but, not really showing it. And Elise is like, okay, sure, that's totally fine. But Dante is like, no, I want to work with Elise. And Cindy Lou's like, well, he said no changes, so too bad. And Elise is like, I don't care. I'm going to find Professor Titan. So Titan actually tells her that he's going to be her liaison. He actually seems nice so far. And because of how important mental health is also at this school, she also has to go to therapy sessions with Miss Nightshade. So after checking to make sure that she hasn't aligned with either the Lunar Brotherhood or the Oscura clan, because the one big thing that Titan mentioned is that he's not pairing anybody on those two opposite sides of the crime families together. Elise was like, no, you couldn't pay me to be on either one of those sides. No. He's like, great, I am going to pair you with the best performing kid in the class. And guess who that is? Ryder. Draconis. And so while this absolutely terrifies her, just because of who Ryder already seems to be, she does want to get close to him. So they're lab partners now. And we are going to switch to chapter 5 from broody, sad boy, mad boy, Ryder. We're still in the lab. If you remember from Zodiac Academy, these books, each book takes place over like a week.
At best. If you're lucky, it's a whole week.
Okay, so Elise heads over to his lab and she asks him to remove the meatloaf resting on the back of her chair, alluding to the fact that his arm is like over the chair, and she's like, get that off. And he immediately accuses her of being in the Oscura clan because she stinks of his blood. And she says, well, I will drink from whoever I please, thank you very much. And Ryder internally thinks, well, she has a point, and if a new girl was power hungry, I had a lot of power between my legs that she could take the benefit of.
Hell yeah.
So,
confidence.
So Ryder has already made the decision that Elise makes the cup to sleep with, presumably, because she looked fragile, but her eyes said warrior. Okay, that's nice. But he also threatens her about becoming part of the Oscura clan. She says that she's on the lookout for a source, and Ryder in return sends her back a vision of him fucking the life out of her, and she like clearly likes it, but she's like, also stop. He definitely doesn't stop. And then he like leans in. He's like, have you ever been hate fucked against a tree? And then also alludes to the fact that he has a penis piercing.
Ryder's got a lot of piercings.
Yeah. So he's very forward. You can give him that.
You know exactly what you're getting with Ryder.
Yeah. So anyways, thankfully this interaction is interrupted by an announcement from Principal Greyshine over the intercom. So he welcomes Elise to the school, and there's also this little situation, apparently, where the Fae-tography Club will be held in the cafeteria now, because when it was held in the Lunar Pit in the Ironwood, Eugene Dipper had a camera forcefully inserted into his nether regions. And that was removed, so if Eugene would like to come pick up the camera, they have it. It's in working order, so yeah. And Ryder just internally is like, well, Eugene should have stayed away from their turf uninvited. And Eugene, his name is just well over there. He comes up every once in a while, mostly to seem as though he got bullied quite a bit.
Yeah. Eugene, shockingly, kind of an important character.
Yeah, no, I can see it. He, like, comes up every once in a while.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, apparently, Bryce Corvus is the one who did it. And Bryce is right here. Bryce is a vampire, and he is Ryder's second in command. And immediately after that terrible announcement from Greyshine, Ryder asks Elise if she has fucked Inferno yet. And Inferno is Ryder's nickname for Dante. Which is kind of weird because...
That's a dope-ass nickname.
It is, but... Dante has no fire.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he has air magic and
He's
electricity. Yeah, so anyways. Whatever. And she just rolled her eyes at him, and he starts instructing her on what to do in potions class. Apparently, Ryder liked potions. He has many needs for the deadly kind of potions. He once again takes another pass at her. She turns him down. He's confused. Because, like, the danger of Ryder usually pulls girls in, and Elise doesn't seem interested. But internally he says, but the fantasy wasn't the reality. A special kind of girl would enjoy what he does, but he would definitely send a few visions by surprise at some point to make sure she was interested. So basically Ryder, to get consent from women that they like what he likes in the bedroom, he unconsensually sends them visions doing what he wants to do to them
in the bedroom
to find out if they're down. And apparently, and this is hard to find for Ryder.
Yeah, I don't know if we've gotten that far in this just yet, but it you would want to know too ahead of time. Yep. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. So he plans to send Elise some visions just to see if she's interested. We flash forward to some sort of fight. This is like a little bit later on in the day. Ryder is beating someone up and loving the sound of breaking bones because pain was everything. And a scum trailed into their camps, so he got to beat him up about it. We learn that the word pain is on his right knuckles because that is the hand that did more damage. And we also learn that pain is actually how basilisks restore order. So he talks about how now it has become a necessity for pain, but before he still needed pain. Like there's, like yes, his basilisk form needs pain to restore and it's become a necessity, but he's always like been big on the pain. Then there's also the lust, which is apparently given way to by pain. He finds it difficult to fulfill his sexual needs because of the intensity, and most girls can't fulfill those needs for him. We also learn of the 2 requirements to join the Lunar Brotherhood. 1, you have to be strong, mentally, physically, and of heart. And number 2, you never have been in the Oscura clan, never fucked anyone from the Oscura clan, never had so much as a fucking kind thought in the direction of the Oscura clan. Honestly, bad marketing.
Yeah.
Like, if you need more people, you can't just be, like, turning away. What if they used to like them and they did them dirty and now they want to switch sides?
Yeah.
You're going to turn them away?
Right?
I don't know. Anyways. After this, immediately after he finishes beating someone up, like, doesn't even clean himself off from all the blood that's happening, he goes to find New Girl. And he seems really dead set on not using her name. Just like New Girl, even though he knows her name. There's a lot of that in these books where people just purposely call people the wrong name.
Yeah.
Because they think it's a sign of disrespect, which it is, but they just seem dead set on, like, not showing people respect. Go out of their way to not show people respect. Yeah. So he goes looking for New Girl. And he finds her sitting with Lainey, who he refers to not as Lainey, but as Hot Sphinx. And he heads over to bother the fuck out of her. So basically she wants nothing to do with whatever it is he wants, and he asks her what she does want. And she ends up saying that she wants orange soda. Apparently she, like, loves the crap out of orange soda so much that she's actually willing to go with Ryder when he offers to bring them to get her some. We also have a very snory dog right now.
Yeah, he's having some kind of dream.
So Ryder, internally, thinks that there is 2 steps to getting Elise to love him. Number 1, orange soda. Number 2, mindfuck her into oblivion to find out what her hard limits are. Step 1, orange soda. Step 2, non-consensual
Mindfucking.
Easy peasy for Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the issue... Okay, I'm going to try and say this with overall. Okay. The issue is that Ryder doesn't have hard limits. Unless you count cuddling, spooning, and heaven fucking forbid canoodling. Frankly, anything that ended with an ing and didn't start with a fuck was a solid no from me. I didn't kiss, I tongue fucked. I didn't caress, I clawed. I didn't go down on girls, I feasted on them.
Oh, man, I love Ryder.
Anyways, so we get to the Kipling brothers, who are not very powerful griffins, but they've made themselves invaluable by their ability to get whatever you need, illegal or otherwise. They're kind of like the prison smugglers who get you ramen.
Yeah.
That's kind of the Kipling brothers.
They're really weird.
Yeah. So he gets Elise some orange soda. She chugs it, chucks the can at his feet, and walks away. Obviously, Ryder is not happy with this. We learned in the Zodiac Academy series that turning away and walking away from a powerful fae is very disrespectful. So Ryder is going to cost Elise. For sure. Okay, we're going to do a really quick flashback to Gareth for chapter 6. This is still 18 months before the Solarid meteor shower. So at this point, Gareth is a junior, and the new freshmen were making the mood at Aurora Academy very weird because Dante and Ryder both started their years. So things were getting really awkward with them trying to drag everyone into war and, like, align with each other. Gareth here, who is just, like, literally trying to make a better life for himself, had no desire to get involved with that shit, so he was walking on eggshells. But we do get him running into Ryder in the bathroom, and Ryder is like manually shaving his beard, and Gareth is like, hey, you know, like there's a spell for that, which basically just ends with Ryder being like, screw you, choose a gang. And then Gareth is like, no, thank you, I'm good. So Ryder's response to like him respectfully sort of declining him is to just leave and then kick all of Gareth's roommates out of his room, going in to lay on Gareth's bed with his journal in his fae form. And then once Gareth gets there, he asks like who Ella is, because Ryder is reading Gareth's journal in his bed, in his order form, and he's like, who's Ella? She sounds hot. And basically ends up kicking him out of his own room, claiming the bed for his own. Like, Gareth is homeless now.
There's a big snake boy on it now.
Just because he said no.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, back to present day, chapter 7, Elise. So Elise is learning about the...
Chapter 8.
Oh, sorry, chapter 8. Elise is learning about the routine. Oh, you know what? It is chapter 7. So Ryder's perspective was still chapter 5 for some reason.
Oh.
I know.
Weird, okay.
They like didn't change chapters. They should have. But anyways, this is chapter 7, Elise. So Elise is learning about the routines of the kings at school, right? So for example, Leon and his 2 female, also Nimi and Lyan, roommates are always in the sun when it's shining. But Leon also only has 2 roommates because his last one died, which we know would have been Gareth. So Gareth didn't stay homeless for long, clearly. She's having a really hard time tracking both Ryder and Dante because of how much they hate each other. Like, Lunar and Oscura are never at the same place at the same time. And, like, she can't track them both at the same time, basically. But it doesn't go unnoticed to Elise that Ryder and Dante are definitely, like, in a little bit of a gang war over her. And she's, like, still has no intention of joining either, so.
Yeah, she's gonna have a good time just watching that one play out.
Yeah. But because Leon is gonna be in the sun when the sun is shining, she's putting together a little plan to try and search Gareth's old room. Now there is a little weird moment because she's in a perch near a window really high up, and she like, I don't know why this was in there. So she starts to think about what it would be like to either fall out of the window or push someone out of it. Super random thought, moving on, right? But then she starts thinking about severing limbs and breaking bones of the murderer who killed Gareth. And then, like, as she's thinking about this, she slams her pencil down onto the overly large penis she's drawn onto a demon representation of Ryder Draconis. Like, this seems like a vision that Ryder sent her.
It's probably some weird.
But it's not. Like, this is Elise. Like, I think she's insane.
No, she is not all there.
No. Yeah. So anyways, it literally doesn't say that there's a vision or anything like that. And Ryder's not there. So, like, we think Elise is insane. But whatever. Either way, Gabriel shows up and terrifies the shit out of her while she's making these plans. And she, like, is kind of like, yo, vampires are really hard to scare. I should have heard you coming. He was really quiet. So Gabriel is that broody, too cool for school bat boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when she asks what he's doing, he's like, do you just mean physically, or are you asking in the larger sense of the question? What are any of us really doing? Is it up to us, or have the stars already made all of our decisions for us? And she's like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? But then Elise also is like, oh shit, not only did I just draw a picture of Ryder, but I'm also drawing like all of the boys.
Yeah.
Like naked and stuff. And so she's like, gets really like insecure, but I'm like, what are you drawing these things for? Like, do you just do that on your free time? Apparently this is who Elise is. So she gets insecure that, like, she doesn't want Gabriel to see all of them, but then Gabriel immediately makes the comment about how he likes her original drawings better, which means she has also been drawing, before this situation, all of the boys naked, but then she realizes, like, wait, has Gabriel been going through her stuff? So she asked Gabriel, like, have you been going through my things? And he goes, define yours. Like, define the definition of what your things are. And she was like, my stuff. Like, not, I define my stuff as not your stuff. And then he was like, well, because I'm the most powerful thing in the school, my stuff is your stuff, or your stuff is my stuff, and it's his right to go through her stuff. And then he left, and that was that. So great. Anyways, she does like decide to get Gabriel back at some point, but not before. If she could also break into someone's room and look through all of their stuff. Yeah. Just the same thing that she got mad at Gabriel for.
Yeah, same.
Whatever. So she sneaks into the door using her vampire speed as someone else was leaving to go out, go outside, and she started to look around Gareth's old bed, which was still completely empty. She knew she wasn't going to find anything around easily, but she did see a poster that was hung up of the Solarian Pitball League, and the corner of it was like dog-eared. So she peels off that bit of tape that was holding it to the wall and found literally nothing visually behind the poster, but she felt the prick of, like, Gareth's magic. So she was able to pick apart a spell and found the hole in the wall that was there. So she pulls out an atlas with a crack on its screen and a journal with, like, pages hanging loose. It just looks like a really well-used journal, as well as 3 clear test tubes housing blue crystals, which she knows to be Killblaze. Dun dun dun.
Drugs.
She didn't even think for a second that Gareth would have taken these. Like, she is very much like, Gareth would never do this. But she does ponder the idea that he might have been dealing it, because she knows that he was sending Mom cash for a while towards the end of his life. So she sort of forgot to keep up her senses, so she didn't hear the heartbeat until it was too late. So Leon literally walks in to Elise holding a pit ball, because Elise, like, heard him at the very last second, and she's like, oh my god, I don't have time to escape. So she, like, takes the atlas and everything like that, and then just grabs a pit ball, and waits for Leon to come in. And Leon walks in, and he's like, little monster, because that's what he calls Elise. And she makes the excuse that it was open when she came looking for him, and that she had to improvise on why she was looking for him. The excuse quickly becomes that she wants to play pitball. And since Leon is the team captain, she just thought she would come to his room. Yeah. Now, this did not fit into Elise's to-do list initially, right? Because before her to-do list was 1, find Gareth's killer. Number 2, kill that person slowly. And number 3, figure out the rest of her life. But pitball also didn't sound like the worst idea. She used to play during her old high school, and Gareth had also been on the team, so it might be an opportunity for her to get close with the old friends. So Leon's like, okay, fine, come for tryouts the next day, and she declares it a date. Heading back to her own room to check to make sure Gabriel hadn't taken any of her sketches. Lainey was also in the room, and she checked that all of her sketches were there. They were. Gabriel hadn't taken any of them, but she took the sketches and bound them and hid them inside of her astrology textbook, like basically just like a, like, can't see them sort of spell, whatever. So that no one could find and take them anymore.
But not destroy them, because she still wants her porn.
Yeah, she still wants her drawn porn.
Yeah.
Do we think she is better or worse of a drawer than Feyre?
I want to go with better.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But in my brain, Feyre is like...
Well, that's the thing. It's depending on how much you like Elise.
I like Elise a lot more than I like Feyre.
I think I would put Elise higher than Feyre. I haven't made my full decision on her yet.
Yeah. And, like, in Elise's defense, this is a white shoes romance. She has to, like, dick a decent amount to put up with 4 of them, and they're all assholes.
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Yeah. So the atlas is obviously dead. Like, Gareth has been dead for a while, and it's been in a wall. So the atlas is dead, so she plugs it in to see if she can take a charge, and looked through the journal. It was mostly sketches of things that people and... Sorry, the dog is...
Getting comfy.
It was mostly sketches, like Gareth's journal was mostly sketches of things and people and, like, odd words and notes added here and there. Didn't really seem to be any deeper meaning to any of it. And she also sealed the journal to the inside of her bag, hiding it again. So in order to teach Gabriel a lesson about going through her things, she ripped a piece of paper from her notebook and scribbled 2 words, define yours, onto it before shooting from her bed over to his. She smelled earth and cedar from his bed, and she fantasized that his blood probably tasted like ecstasy. A lot of fantasies with Elise.
Oh, I get the butt this time.
All right, let the dog get comfy first.
You pick your spot, sweet pea.
Okay. Chapter number 8, we are going to Leon, the Leo lion. So we start off Leon's chapter with one of the Mindys giving him tap water, and we learn very quickly there's a lot of Mindys. So Leon obviously freaks out at Mindy for bringing her non-mineral water. She brought her tap water. So he's like, hey, Mindy, just a reminder, like, only mineral water, please. That was, like, very bad. But he's like, well, she's a freshman. He really liked her smile. And when she tries to remind him that her name is Lillian, he's like, shh, Mindy.
Mindy.
Yeah. So he called them all Mindy because it was easier for him to remember. He says they don't mind. He assumes, because he's never asked if they minded, but he just assumes that Mindy is fine for everybody. So it's at this time where he looks for his whistle so he could whistle at the guys. They're at pitball practice. And it's like this custom gold whistle that he has to keep an eye on because Dante's always eyeing it up.
Dragon.
It had all the 4 elemental symbols engraved on it and the Solarian Pitball League insignia at the bottom. And he was also planning on getting the marks burned into it from one of his favorite teams, and he was not gonna let it go. Now, originally he needed this whistle because he was team captain and he had to fill in for Professor Mars, who is their coach, on Thursdays, because Professor Mars runs detention that night. But right now he wants the whistle so that he can just whistle at the women that are around him to get them to do what he wants. So. But anyways, he doesn't know where it is. He can't find it. So he calls for Dante, immediately knowing that it was Dante, to give him his whistle back. And he was like, Dante just smirks at him, right? But then Leon just like fishes out a couple of gold coins and is like, here, dragon. And Dante comes running over, and just takes that and gives him his whistle back. He like threatened to kick Dante off of the team, except for he like definitely wouldn't, because Dante is a good air sentry. Like and he does mention this, he's no Lance Orion.
Yeah.
But Dante is good. And they actually might have a chance to beat Zodiac Academy in their next match if they all played well. But we're not going to get to that for a while because these books move like snail mail.
Yeah.
So anyways, Elise finally shows up and Leon is very excited about that. He checks her out completely, and in response, she pinches his chin, and he tells her that his face is worth a lot. And she's like, well, it's not worth enough to afford that long look at my chest, and asks if he looks at Dante's like that. And he's like, well, no, Dante lets me fondle his boobs in the locker room, and that was that. I'm sensing, I don't know where I put my thing, I am sensing a little tension between Leon and Dante.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, the bromance is in this one.
Okay.
Pretty good. Yeah. And Leon, I think, is a really necessary character in this to really offset the douche canoes on this side.
Right.
And then Dante's kind of like in the middle between them.
Yeah.
Like, he still knows how to have fun, but he's also still kind of broody.
Yeah. But yeah, the broodiness is big over on that side.
Yeah. They got problems.
Yeah. So Leon basically is like, hey, you can have Gladys's spot on the team if you outwork her. Gladys is just a sub filling in for the air striker position, and then like starts kind of trailing off, telling her about the guy who held the spot previously. And Leon's head, because we're in Leon's perspective right now, just fills with Gareth's face. And he swallows the lump in my throat along with the knot of guilt in my gut. Leon's guilty for something, because remember, there's a murder plot here and we're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So before Elise actually proves that she can outwork Gladys, Leon also loudly whispers to Elise that, like, literally anyone is better than Gladys. And Gladys hears that and is like, hey. And Leon's like, dude, you're only playing this sport to impress Harvey, who also hears. So Leon is like, hey, Harvey, do you want to go out with Gladys? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then Leon's like, great, Gladys, you're off the team. And then adds Elise to it and never tried out. They do try out. It's just like he
wasn't gonna put a lot of effort in that.
You can do this if you outwork Gladys, and then she literally does no work and just gets on the team. So whatever. Elise eventually proves herself by sending, like, Leon sends her a burst of wind to smack the airball into the pit, and then, like, Elise basically impressed him pretty immediately. Like, she was pretty good. And she impresses Leon and Dante so much that Leon decides to put her to the test while everyone is trying to stop her with no order gift. So, like, she's trying to get the ball into the pit, which is how pitball works. I'm still confused on the details, but you're trying to get the ball into the pit of some sort. But, like, everyone's trying to stop her now. And, okay, Leon is one of the most quotable characters in this book, and I'm gonna let you enjoy some of these, okay? So, these are the italics of Leon's inner mind. I bet I'm gonna have those lips wrapped around something after this tryout. She definitely wants me. And here's another Leon quote while she's trying to get the ball. I don't know what it was about her that got me so switched on, but I was a walking boner every time she got too close.
Leon, just a girl.
Yeah. So then Dante tackles Elise, and Leon told them that Castillo was out, basically trying to get Dante off of her, like he didn't want Dante off her, but nobody moved. So when Dante finally gets up, Leon did a boner sweep. Leon's words, not mine. And Dante definitely had one of those. And one more Leon quote. I loved that guy. Sharing was caring, but also owning meant boning. I don't know what that means.
Does Leon know what that means?
I don't think so. So because Elise is out, it means she has to sit on the sidelines. Or in this case, Leon takes her to the wall behind the seats and just starts making out with her. But she kind of accepts this. Like, she, like, starts making out with him too. And he tries to get her to go to his room, but she just turns him down, walks away because she's hungry, and also doesn't call her Leon, calls him Leo. And just walks away. First makeout, though.
Yep. And
Ooh.
Leon's a good choice for the first one.
Agreed. Leon is, like, the most fun and the least suspect. Like, Elise suspects him the least.
Yeah. Which, he does come off as a little too scatterbrained to have murdered someone successfully.
Yeah. But he is guilty of something. He feels guilt. So...
fucked up somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, chapter 9, Elise. So Elise leaves a pitball tryouts, and she is having a conversation with herself about making out with a potential murder subject, right? She's at least, like, thinking back on that scenario, being like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But also, like, being real with herself that she doesn't think that it's Leon, because he just doesn't seem like the type. So, anyways, but, like, to be fair, these guys seem like a more likely situation.
Especially
Ryder. So, she gets to her room, and she finds that she has it to herself, which is rare. So she closes the window, so it would give her a second if Gabriel does show up, because he arrives through the window, and he's the sneakiest boy around town. And she finally gets a chance to look through the broken atlas that ended up charging. It has a passcode. She tries to figure it out, but that takes like 2 seconds because she just types in her own birthday to see if that was Gareth's password, and it was, so it unlocks.
You know, I would knock her for that, but my brother's birthday is the passcode for my work right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
I rotate through my 3 siblings, though.
Well, and Gareth loved Elise. Like, Elise was the world to Gareth.
Yeah. So they were best friends.
Yeah.
I just can't remember 6 numbers really easily,
So now we start getting from some text, and this is actually, like, big on the murder plot. So there is one from someone named King. King says, full moon is tonight. Gareth says, I'm not sure she's ready. Shouldn't we wait? King, I don't have another month to spare. You should know that by now. Meet me at midnight as usual, or you'll pay in her place. Gareth. Okay, I'll be there. She was actually then able to find his GPS records along with like those specific dates. So turns out 6 full moons in a row, Gareth had gone out into the middle of the night to Acrux Courtyard where the students hung out in their free time between classes. And it was a full moon tonight, so she figured, you know what, let's see if these people are still meeting at that time. She hears a knock on the door, and it ends up being Cindy Lou looking for Dante. They have a little spat about how Cindy Lou thinks Elise's color is not purple, and Elise thinks that Cindy Lou's color isn't Dante. And then Elise is like, you can have her, even though internally Elise is like, actually, I might want him, but like, I'm not gonna admit that. And Cindy Lou makes a comment about how she looks like a half-price hooker and bets that her mom was one too. Now, Elise has no problem with being called a hooker.
Yeah.
She actually even has no problem with her mom being called a hooker because that was...
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
But Elise does have a problem with either of them being called a cheap hooker.
You know what? Fair. Know your worth.
Yeah. So, Elise attacks her. Good. And Dante comes over right after that, and Cindy Lou like immediately is like, "Oh my god, she attacked me!" So Dante like ends up walking her back, and Elise just rolls her eyes as Dante like looks back at Elise as he's walking away with Cindy Lou. So Dante came and saved the day for Cindy Lou, and Elise is just like, that bitch. Whatever. Finally almost midnight, and Elise is sneaking out. Gabriel was still gone, but Dante was awake and asked her where she was going. She makes the excuse that she's going out hunting. So she goes down into the courtyard. She gets up to a like tree or whatever and waits for like 20 minutes. And 20 minutes after midnight, she decides nobody is coming. So as she's like exiting, she kind of has like some moments where she gets sad that she doesn't really feel anything anymore since Gareth's death. So she is like, I want to feel something, and that something is going to come from the adrenaline of walking into the Lunar Brother territory. Stupid. So she went to the wooden bench that Ryder usually sits on, and guess who shows up?
Ryder.
Great guess, Ryder. So he's like, have you come to pledge to the Brotherhood? Also, I forgot to mention that he is shirtless during this. Like, it kind of looks like he's coming from his order form. Because it's not uncommon for boys to just be shirtless. And
Snake boy.
Yeah. So, remember how, like, she is not supposed to be looking into his eyes?
Yeah, because that was how you get the visions, because he's a basilisk.
Yeah, no, she does that immediately.
Yeah.
So, it's vision time. He starts screwing her and choking her, and she's like scraping her nails down his back in the vision, and she is having a good time. She is enjoying this very much.
I would say at this point, looking into his eyes is consent. If you've been told otherwise, you know what's going to happen, and you still do it, you're asking for a good time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, but Ryder also sends, like, you don't know what he's going to send you when you do it, but...
She's got a good idea.
She knows she's not supposed to be looking into his eyes.
I'm sorry, are we in the way? That's
Dog
a
is
weird
part of the
position.
podcast now. So anyways, she's getting vision fucked again, and as soon, like, she is like literally so close to finishing, and she's like, I am not letting him overpower me. So she overpowers him and shatters the dreams just to prove that she could. And Ryder was like super surprised by this, clearly, and she tells him how she is not some submissive fae and that she likes it better on top. So then she bites him and starts drinking his blood, and he hissed out of pain, but it also sounded kind of like sexual for Ryder.
Yeah.
And then she straddled him while sucking his blood, and he pulled her down, but she was like, no, I'm not taking anything but blood and power from him. And then he says, and I quote, I want to see your pretty skin painted red with my blood. And she's like, you're so dark. And he's like, you have no idea. And then she tries to convince herself that she doesn't want any of this, but it also kind of makes sense for her to want it. Like,
she's a vampire.
Blood. She's a vampire. So, like...
Also, there it goes.
Oh, I found the wand. it makes sense for her to want the blood and power, so I don't blame her for that. Okay, so he asks her if she wants to make this whole situation a regular occurrence, and she's like, well, do you want to be my source? And he wants a trade, right? He's like, I will be your source, no problem. But if you suck on my blood, you also have to suck on other parts of me. And she was like, you know what? This doesn't sound like a bad trade, but I am not going to be whoring myself out. So she's like, never mind then. Thanks for the drink, sweetie. And Ryder's like, sweetie? There's nothing sweet about me, new girl. And Elise says, sure there is. You taste like a rainbow dust on a fresh summer morning dipped in sugar. And we end that chapter there. Okay, we are going to go into chapter 10, and it's going to be a flashback chapter. We are, again, 18 months before the Solarian meteor shower from Gareth's perspective, and he is only 6 days away from the deadline for his first payment to Old Sal, and finding it more difficult than he thought to steal from criminals. Checks out.
Crazy.
Yeah. So he's trying to think of a way to get the money on his way to Cardinal Magic, and he hears a girl's voice. For the love of the stars, where the hell is it? And Gareth notices her stomping and pouting, and he puts like a huge smile on his face, asking if he can help because she's cute. And she said she was trying to find the potions lab, which is the same lab that Elise couldn't find. And he was like, oh, it's not a problem. No one can ever find that lab for the first time. He introduces himself as Gareth, and she introduces herself as Cindy Lou. We know Cindy Lou.
We sure do.
He met Cindy Lou. So they talk on their way to class, and Cindy Lou confides in her being the first of her family to go to academy, and Gareth tells her about Ella. She gave him a kiss on the cheek, and he got all giddy and started to run to his Cardinal Magic class that he was very late for now. Cindy Lou is a totally different person with Gareth than she is in present day, and we'll just notice the differences there.
Cindy Lou is it. She's got depths,
yeah.
We'll say.
Yeah. So as he's running towards the class, he slams into another student who ended up being Gabriel Knox, who Gareth knew immediately, since he was like the first Fae in 10 years to come to Aurora Academy with 2 elements, that he is not somebody that he should be bumping into accidentally. And so he like starts apologizing and helping him pick stuff up, and he picks up Gabriel's atlas and notices the page that it's on was his bank statement. Gabriel had received 5 payments that month of 10,000 auras each and had a total account balance of $834,679.76, which is a lot of money. Gareth is like,
hot damn.
Crazy. So Gareth is looking at this, obviously, and that pissed Gabriel off. So he slams him against the wall, and Gareth is like, oh shit, this guy might actually kill me. And Gabriel asks him who paid him to spy on him. Gareth calls him a psycho, and Gabriel retaliated by using both his water and earth magic against him, leaving him there in binds until someone came to help him out.
Are we also clocking the Zodiac Academy reference? His falling star.
Yes.
Is Professor Astrum, I think.
Yeah, so Falling Star is definitely Professor Astrum from Zodiac Academy, and he is sending Gabriel money.
Like a lot of money.
We don't know why, though.
No. I don't even remember why, to be honest. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
I've also reread this at least twice.
It's hilarious. Okay, so while Gareth is trapped in his binds, it leaves some time to think about why Gabriel freaked out so much about seeing this. Like, yes, finances are a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but like to freak out that much because you saw bank statements, sketchy. He must have something to hide. And that was good for Gareth because Gabriel had a lot of money, and if he has something to hide and he can figure out why he's hiding something, maybe he can blackmail him, right? So that's where Gareth is, which also is a motive for murder.
Yes.
Potential. So.
Yeah. I just... sus payments.
Sus payments.
Good blackmail material.
Okay, chapter 11, back to present day, we've got Dante's perspective, and he is in the dorm room alone. So he took the opportunity to call his mama, and him and his mama have such a cute little relationship.
They're adorable.
Yeah. So something about Dante. Dante is like the only dragon in his family. The Oscura clan are just full of wolves, and Dante just emerged as a dragon. But this kind of creates like a little bit of a weird dynamic for Dante because Dante's order is like naturally pretty, like they like to be isolated. They are a little bit more alone than other orders, whereas werewolves, total opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like to sleep in the same bed, right? And he lives in a family of them. So Dante is kind of on like both spectrums of it, but he's definitely a lot more like cuddly, feely than most dragons.
Yeah, because he grew up in the little wolf pack.
Yeah, but he doesn't show this side of him at school because, like, again, dragons are not typically known for their love or affection. But when Dante's order emerged, his family literally celebrated him for a week. Like, dragons were already rare. One that breathed electricity was even more rare. They were pumped. But his mom on the phone tells him that Lorenzo's dad is not doing well upon his death. His name is Felix, and he's been starting fights with the Lunar Brotherhood all over town. Apparently, Felix was already kind of unstable, but, like, now he's kind of off the rocker.
Yeah, he's extra unstable.
Yeah. So Dante offers to come home to help, but she's like, no, you have to focus on your studies. You have to become a super smart boy. So he says goodbye and I love you, and he's like, well, I'll come home to visit so that we can go flying. And just as if you remember this from Zodiac Academy, it is actually a law that dragons don't let other people ride them.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
Unless you're Orion.
Unless you're Orion with Darius, that's allowed. But what Dante's perspective on this is like Lionel Acrox, who's the head of the Dragon Order, isn't gonna come to Alestria. Like, this is like, he doesn't care what I'm doing. Yeah. So yeah, I like fly with my family. They love it. We have fun.
Because he's got so many cute little cousins. Mm-hmm. So many cute little cousins.
Yeah. So Dante does do this with his family, but he keeps it on the down low at school. He doesn't really let this happen at school because his mom doesn't want him to get in trouble. Yeah. And like also Dante's never met another dragon.
Yeah, because they don't live in the shitty area of town.
Yeah. So anyways, as he was getting up to go to the bathroom, he found Elise at the door at the same time as him. They have a bunch more flirty banter, which involves Dante telling Elise that he jerked off into her pillow, which is one way to flirt. And then Gabriel started standing there, who also wouldn't move. Because Gabriel's like caught in his little sight trance. He's just like looking off into the distance or whatever. So Dante then goes to send Gabriel through an electrical storm, except for Gabriel sneaks past and perches on Dante's bed before he can do so. So at this point, Dante really needs to pee. And he's self-aware enough to know that, like, he's not mad about Gabriel standing there. He's not mad about all of these things. Gabriel is, like, actively trying to piss him off.
Yeah.
But Dante is just, like, really mad about Felix. Yeah. Because he's, like, ruining things for him. So, whatever. Now, the natural way to deal with the self-awareness that he has is, obviously, to go assert dominance on Elise. So he goes back into the room and grapples her and drags her towards the window and then shoves her out of it. So it's a good coping mechanism. So then he just dives for her in his order form, catches her, takes her up. But then Gabriel joins. And he is like also flying with them. His silver armor glistened on his skin as he called upon it to shield him. And Dante knew that meant war. So Gabriel looks at Elise and says, "Trust me, Elise." Gabriel cuts Dante with something, and Elise wriggles free from Dante and fell. Gabriel caught her, and that pissed Dante off, to which he just justifies his own actions by the fact that he only wanted to assert dominance, and he never actually meant to hurt her, so Gabriel had no right to save her.
She also, isn't her magic's air, isn't it?
Yes.
So she also wouldn't die from falling.
No. Mm-mm.
She's powerful enough to stop herself.
Yeah, but that is Dante's justification to Gabriel being the asshole in this situation.
Yeah, of course. It's never them.
No. So anyways, Dante just flies away and brings like a huge storm down on the academy. So continuing with this, but chapter 12 from Elise's perspective, Elise is now in Gabriel's arms and they are flying. She is clinging to him and very confused on what she's supposed to think about the situation. Like, was he a killer? But he saved her. What is happening? And they land on the roof of the dorm and look up to see the storm that Dante was creating. So Gabriel's like, don't worry, he's just a hothead. He'll forget about it tomorrow. But she should probably avoid the dorm room tonight, right? Yeah, you can't go home. You have to stay here with me.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So Elise, like, internally is freaking out. Like, why did I think I could come here and handle this? And she just starts crying. So she turns away from Gabriel. She doesn't want him to see. So he puts his hand on her shoulder and says, I can see how sad you are even when you aren't crying. You don't have to hide your tears from me. And she turns towards him and says, and then he says again, you don't have to tell me why you're so sad, but I think the stars brought us here. I was meant to be with you now. Before I entered our dorm, I had a vision of me carrying you through the sky in my arms, and less than 10 minutes later, it came to pass. This was meant to happen. I think you were meant to end up in my arms tonight. And the whole time that this is being said, Elise really notes how grumpy Gabriel sounds.
Yeah, he is not here for this.
Yeah.
He's just like, fate's fucking me yet again.
Yeah, he was like, this was meant to happen. I think you were meant to end in my arms tonight, or whatever. So even though he's all broody and upset about this, it is enough to fully captivate Elise because he was so tall and strong and sure of himself and calm, and Elise likes that about him. So even though Gabriel was really broody and grumpy about this, he still starts kissing the tears, and he tells her she's beautiful and that he hasn't stopped looking at her since the moment she walked into the door. Her pain, her sorrow, her light, and her fire, and it isn't enough. She captivates him. And then they have sex on the dorm roof.
He's got a little nest.
Yeah.
For the record, it's not just like on a roof. Like it is on the roof. But like he's got like a little man cave shelter bird brain zone thing.
There's like this tent up there that he like just in the future we find out that he used to sleep up there.
Yeah.
And like he's
it's not just on a bare roof. That would be funny though.
Yeah. So I will say about this sex, it gets a little kinky. Wing touching is involved. Apparently that's very nice. And she ends up falling asleep in his arms, in his little tent, in the little canopy that he has up there.
Yeah, I think while reading, we just keep in mind that Gabriel is a seer and has a general idea of what's happening and going on. But I kind of, especially for him, especially into Zodiac Academy, it's kind of like Doctor Strange in Infinity War, where he's like, you got one shot to make this all work out properly, and I can't really be involved in this.
Right.
Same vibes.
Yeah.
So Gabriel, don't get me wrong, he's an asshole, and he's working through shit.
Yeah.
But there is a wider...
Yeah, there's a bigger picture of him. But yeah, he still sleeps with her.
Yeah.
And he sounds very grumpy about it.
Yeah, he's not happy about it.
Yeah. But they both love it. They both have a really good time. So Gabriel actually wakes up in chapter 13. And in the morning of this next day, after the sex, Gabriel's very happy. Apparently, in Gabriel's words, this was the most intense sex he's ever had. But this left him in a serious predicament. See, Gabriel did not get attached anymore. No ties, that was his mantra. Anyone who'd ever gotten close to him in his whole life was firmly removed from it. That is why his adopted father taught him, since he had moved all over the place when he was a kid before finally settling down in this town that tasted like piss and gangs on the streets. So Gabriel's not happy in this town. He's adopted. You get a little bit of lore.
Yep.
Now here we do get some insight into how his sight works. So he can't control what he sees. Glimpses just like come to him of things to come. Sometimes it was just a taste, it could be a feeling, sometimes it was actual snapshots of the future. And we also learned that all of the tattoos that he had were of things that he had seen. So he scrawls the messages on his body because the visions were so cryptic and he was worried that he would forget them. And apparently tattoos are the only way to do that. You cannot journal these things. It must be tattoos.
Just tattoos.
Yeah. So each tattoo on his skin were of something that had either not yet come to pass or has come to pass, but he like got it beforehand, or he knows that it will come to pass. He opens his atlas to see his horoscope, and it basically tells him that a Libra is going to give him problems today. We know Elise is a Libra. Now, the Libra tattoo that he has on his chest itched, and he's mad because apparently he should have saw her coming. He also has a tattoo that reads, "We fall together," on his wrist. And noticed how it basically made a sentence with the one that Elise had that says, "Even angels fall," which is like kind of a stretch. Like, they both have the word fall in it.
Yeah.
But whatever.
They're complementary.
They are complementary, yeah. So even angels fall is on Elise, and that's like under her boob, and Gabriel says, "We fall together." So, whatever. Elise gets up and starts to head back to her dorm, and he grabs her and basically is like, "Don't tell anyone ever about that last night." And when he touches her, he gets a vision of Elise with her eyes ringed with silver. We know from Zodiac Academy that this means a mate bond. And Gabriel is fully laced with fear because he cannot let someone get that close to him. So he tells her, "This didn't happen, don't come back for more," and then flew off the roof.
Yeah, Gabriel's about to spiral about this for like 2 books.
Yeah. Gabriel is like, "Elise is my mate," and oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
So the stars continue to show Gabriel visions of Elise with rings around her eyes, as well as visions with Gabriel's eyes doing the same. So we're assuming that they're mates. But, like, it could also be just a giant mislead. Like, they don't actually show them together.
Maybe Ryder is his mate.
Maybe.
They can brood together.
Yeah, maybe. So, because of this issue, he's now reading every single book he can possibly read to try and figure out how to break it off before the mate bond becomes more powerful. The only problem with this is that there's, like, literally 0 books because no one has ever broken a mate bond before their, like, divine moment. So instead, he basically starts on a whole course to make her hate his guts. And he's like, "I've had girls chase after me before, relentlessly. I can handle this." But he is also not going to underestimate the power of the Elysian mate bond, because Gabriel has a heart of iron. So if anyone could do it, it will be him. So how does he do this? So immediately he finds her in the hallway before the next class, clearing everyone out and telling Elise that they are Elysian mates. And she's like, no, I don't think that's true, and threatens to bite him. And then he attacks her and suggests a game to play. And that game is called Stay the Fuck Away From Me. And she's like,
"We share a dorm room, you dumb fuck."
Yeah, like, gladly, but also, like, how are we gonna do that? And she leaves, and he watches her the whole time. He's like, "Oh, but damn." So, okay, still with Gabriel, a little bit later, he is perched on his bed with visions happening, and I just, like, I can't picture, because, like, Gabriel's a good-looking man, right?
Yeah, he's hot. They're all hot.
How do you sexily perch on a bed? What does that look like? Because I just picture, like, sitting like a dog, but, like knees outward on his toes.
Okay, how do I... Hawkeye on the side of a building.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I was gonna try to mimic it. No. I don't have the physical. But yeah, Hawkeye on the side of a building.
Okay, sure. Still weird to be doing in your dorm room.
Yeah. I don't know how you fit either. Like, those have to be the highest, because he's got his wings out like 99% of the time too.
These dorms cannot be as small as I'm picturing them.
No, they have to be mad. They have to have like 12-foot ceilings.
Yeah. Anyways, apparently Gabriel, we get more Gabriel lore. He doesn't remember anything before his 5th birthday, but sometimes the stars send him random visions and he, like, really clings on to them. So all that he's gathered between the little visions and his adopted parents was that he had been planted in his adopted parents' care with very specific instructions, and a bunch of money. And he had no idea who had planted them in the care, what the instructions were, XYZ. But since his 18th birthday, he had been receiving the payments from the falling star. Huh? You know?
Having had just gone through a Zodiac Academy and then now going through this, things click a lot better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
About like who's what and where and where. You were not going to figure out any of this until Zodiac Academy before.
No, because this is also one of my comments about these books is that it doesn't leave you enough breadcrumbs to really theorize with anything of substance. Like, they really only tell you enough for you to know what you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for you to theorize and put things together because they don't leave you a lot of breadcrumbs. They just tell you blatantly what's going on as you're allowed to find out.
Yeah. I think it's truly intended to like, you really do need to go back and read these 5 books and then go back into Zodiac Academy.
Right.
Because then it all kind of just makes, like, you could do Zodiac Academy without these, but I don't think you can do these without Zodiac Academy.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
Okay, interesting. So anyways, he's been receiving the payments from Falling Star every month. And his adopted parents apparently spent his whole life teaching him to fly under the radar because someone was after him, but he didn't know why or what. But someone is after him. Now, Gabriel wasn't staring at Elise, except for sometimes, actually most of the time. And eventually she tells him to stop staring at her, or like to say something, because he's just like creepily staring at her. And he worries about sharing a room with her, but he is happy that the job of her hating him was done. But he also wasn't happy. He's experiencing complex feelings. 2 things can be true at once.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Gabriel. Dante is also still angry because Gabriel saved Elise from him, so the room is very tense and very hot because of Dante's order. He's like heating up. And Gabriel made a slight at Dante, so they had like a little spat, but eventually Gabriel looks again at the note that Elise left him that he kept.
Yeah, he's a little bird
Remember
boy.
his little note that Elise put on his bed, define yours? Yeah, he kept that. He wasn't sure why. But the last internal dialogue before we get before the end of this chapter is, define yours, everything in the school, Elise. So as long as I want it, but I don't want you. Not now, not ever.
Broody bird boy.
Broody, in denial, bat boy. Okay, chapter 14, Elise. Elise is heading to her first therapy session with Miss Nightshade, and she is adamant that she does not need therapy. Now, a few sentences later, she does admit that, like, maybe she does need therapy, but she doesn't want it. And that's an important distinction to make, right? So she acknowledges that her grief has changed her and that she was totally unhinged, totally unstable, totally unbalanced, psychotic, very true statements.
Yeah, but she has murdered someone.
Yeah. But Elise is okay with that, which means everything is okay with the way that Elise is operating. The only thing that she cares about at this point is revenge on whoever killed her brother, and that she'd worry about scraping together some form of a real life after she has accomplished this. So she arrives at Miss Nightshade's office a little bit early, and she overhears another session with none other than Ryder Draconis. So we get a little bit of, like, what she's saying to Ryder. So she says, working on exploring more emotions before next week. I know you like to believe that you only feel lust and pain, but I can promise I've sensed more complexity than that. Which is kind of funny because that is like exact homework that my therapist has given me before to explore different emotions. So that is good job on therapy. That is a real therapy. And Elise is like, oh, I'm arriving even earlier next week. Yeah. I gotta hear that shit. So as Ryder and Elise pass in the doorway, Nightshade registers and is like immediately impressed because Elise just drew surprise, amusement, and intrigue from Ryder, which is 3 different emotions
that aren't lust and pain.
So that's pretty impressive. And Nightshade clocks that. And Elise did that with like basically a shrug. So, well, So Nightshade is like, I'm honored to meet you, actually. So in Nightshade's presence, she's wanting, like, kind of immediately, Elise is like, I want to tell her all about Gareth. She can help with the pain. And she's like, wait, that's weird. I really didn't want to do this. And, oh, Miss Nightshade is a siren. And as soon as she realizes that she's a siren, therapy goes very much downhill. Like, Elise is like, I don't want to talk to you. I think you're abusive with your power. And you're a nosy bitch. Stay out of my head. It's none of your business. And Nightshade's like, actually, these sessions aren't optional, and it is my business. So Elise just walks out at that point. So as she's leaving, she thinks about how if next time Nightshade doesn't back the fuck off, she'll just bite her. Wouldn't be the first time she's bitten a teacher, and obviously she's like concerned because she doesn't want Nightshade to know about Gareth. Nobody in the school knows that Gareth is her brother.
Yeah, and you can bite the teacher. That is not the one rule.
It is not the one rule.
The one rule still applies to the school, shockingly.
Yes, don't sleep with the teacher, but you can bite the teacher.
Yeah, allowed.
Teachers can also bite you.
Yep.
Teacher cannot sleep with you.
No.
One rule.
It's the only rule.
So she spends the rest of the evening, Elise, stewing over how to manage Miss Nightshade. But she does, like, figure that she can get around it a couple ways. She's going to tell Miss Nightshade that her dad died. That's where the grief is coming from. And also she's like, well, I could just have sex before therapy because that'll mess with my hormones. Like, things like that. She's thinking about those kind of problem solving. She's now headed to astrology class in the evening and was kind of hoping to see Leon to try and ask him some questions about his old roommate. Instead of Leon, Dante walks through the door. Now, Dante is wondering why he hasn't seen much of Elise lately, and Ryder shows up immediately, asking if it's because Dante showed her his tiny cock. And they start to fight about A, who has the bigger dick, and B, who Elise wants to play with more. And so she just, like, speeds off and sits in a different chair while they fight. And it's, like, in a little bit that they realize she's gone. Like,
yeah. While they're still talking about their dicks.
Yeah.
To each other.
And Gabriel finally walks in. She avoids his glare because of how mad she is at him. Super fair. But also how good he was in bed.
Also super fair.
Yeah. But she's like, that's not worth it. Sex isn't worth it. He's too much of a dick or whatever. She's like, I definitely felt a connection with him, but, like, I'm not willing to give every guy I ever meet up for him just to be, like, his mate.
Yeah, I think as you progress through this, you more and more see how she ends up with a wide shoe situation, because she's really not a settle down with a one person kind of girl.
Yeah, she's like, I don't really want a mate. I don't want to give up every other guy that I ever meet. I'm not anybody's. I don't want to be in a cage. That's kind of the attitude of Elise. Yeah. Then Cindy Lou walks in, sits next to Dante, and finally Leon, who is always late, Leon the late Leo lion, walks in and calls out to him. She calls out to him using the name Leo. Whatever, that continues. And
I just like that one of the girls is finally throwing the name thing back at one of the guys.
I know, because it's always the guys.
It's always the guys.
And Leon does it. I think, like, this is actually a way for Elise to, like, tell Leon that he's being a dick by calling all of these girls Mindy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he walks over with all of his Mindies who help him bring his stuff. Like, one of them is even, like, taking his water bottle, unscrewing the cap, and bringing it to his lips. Like, that's how aggressive this is. And she starts up a conversation about Pitbull, like the schedule and things like that. And from across the room, Ryder and Dante are just glaring at them. So now Professor Rayburn comes into class and they start talking about fate. More specifically, the question of, can we avoid it? Convenient, considering we're just finding out about Elysian mates. And Elise is very clear on the fact that she doesn't like fates, especially about her, like, brother dying. Like, how can you, like, wow, it was fate that my brother was murdered. Like,
Yeah.
And she also doesn't like the idea that her choices don't matter. So Gabriel gave the example of Elysian mates being a fated moment. Meeting your fated mate isn't a fated event in and of itself, but if you do come into contact with your potential mate, you will end up in a divine moment. This is a fact. It is unavoidable. You will be drawn from your bed when the stars align just right for the two of them, and in that fated moment, you will be given the opportunity to choose them for your own. If you do, both people gain a silver ring of true love around your irises to mark the union. Or, if you choose not to, you will become star-crossed, destined to never be together and to mourn that loss forever. Fate puts you in the divine moment, but free choice allows you to make your own decision about your destiny. So basically, like, this whole class, and Elise zones out for most of it, but is about how fated moments that you can't control are mixed in with moments that you have choice over. And she starts thinking about how much she doesn't want Gabriel to be her Elysian mate. And she's like, well, at least the feeling is mutual, I guess. Yeah. So this time is also spent flirtatiously fighting with Leon over snacks and is like sort of wrestling her for his chocolate bars. And this does eventually disrupt the class. And Leon tells the professor that Elise gave him a mouth orgasm with her chocolate.
The term mouth orgasm is going to be used more than once.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. Okay, Elise eases into her questions about Gareth. Because remember, the plan was to ask Leon about his old roommate. So she's like, Leon, wouldn't you be like super lost on your own without your little minions? And Leon justifies the fact that he doesn't even learn their names by the fact that his lion charisma attracts so many girls that they'd be more upset if he turned them down to spend time with him. So once again, Leon is like, well, it's better than them being turned down by me because they would be devastated if I just was honest with them. So yeah. And so then she says, oh, so I'm guessing whoever used to have that empty bed in your room was a Mindy who saw sense and left. And Leon got immediately sad and said his old roommate died. And he's like, I guess it was an overdose, but he got really silent when he said that, and she got the feeling he didn't want to talk about it too much more. So, and like, she does know, Leon seems genuinely sad.
Yeah, he seems upset that Gareth is gone.
Yeah, so Leon ends up telling her how Gareth was one of his best friends before he fell in with the Black Card. And the Black Card is like a cult made up of some of the students. People can only join by invitation, they're secretive, but everyone knows that more than half of them are hooked on Killblaze. Leon also tells her how he had no suspicion that he was on Killblaze, and like went as far to say he didn't think he was addicted, and when the FIB said that was the cause of death, he must have just got unlucky the first time he tried it. So even Leon thinks that Gareth wasn't on Killblaze.
I feel like we interact with people on Killblaze later, and it's like real obvious. Like, you couldn't hide that you're high on that shit.
No, it's like very aggressive. So going back into chapter 15, Gareth is 18 months again before the Solarid meteor shower. Once again, this book moves slowly. So Gareth is in bed in his dorm and is very stressed about money. He's only 3 days away from his first deadline with old Sal, and he's like on his atlas frantically trying to dig up dirt on Gabriel. So the first thing he's figuring out is that his parents don't add up. Because of his Harpy Scorpio double elements gifts, but his parents are like low-powered werewolf and eagle. So there's no family resemblance. The power doesn't add up. So we obviously know at this point that Gabriel is adopted, and Gareth also can't figure out who Falling Star is. We know that it's Professor Astrom from Zodiac Academy. So something weird is going on there. Like, is it like child support payments? Is it like, we don't know what's going on, but Falling Star we know. And we know that Gabriel is adopted. Gareth doesn't know this yet. So Gareth obviously has a couple theories about it though, right? Spanning from famous parents, taking drugs, or he was like undercover running from something or someone. Ding, 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 he's running from someone or like trying to hide from someone.
Yeah.
So Leon walks in saying he wants to play pitball and be team captain. And Gareth informs him that A, tryouts were last week, and B, Gareth will be the team captain. And Leon is like, hey, can you just do me a solid here? Like, your professor likes you, and I will even give you the password to my Fayflix account. And that wasn't... And Gareth was like, well, I can't afford my own Fayflix account, so sure. But that's actually not the only thing that convinces Gareth to do him the solid and get him on the pitball team. As Leon was getting out his atlas, a white crystal fell out. Leon is like, oh, that's a white jasper crystal, which is super rare and 10 times as powerful as the red ones. Like, you could feed a family of 10 off this crystal for a month. So Gareth is like, money!
Steal
I need
that.
So he's like, okay, well, if Leon has money, I should get close to him, kind of thing. So he makes a plot to get close to him so he can steal the crystal. Reminder, Leon's family is like the top thief family
in this country.
So
they are elite.
Stupid, but whatever. Also, potentially a good motive for murder.
Theft.
He's looking guilty. Okay, so they're walking to convince Mars to let Leon on the team, and Leon tells him of all the hilarious pranks he's pulled since arriving here. Like, Gareth is actually starting to like Leon. Like, Leon's been funny, he's lighthearted.
It's hard not to like Leon.
Yeah, and they both convince Mars to let him on the team, and because he found Leon, because Leon proves to be pretty good, Mars immediately makes Gareth captain. So things are going well, even though he, like, needs money. So that evening, while Leon was sleeping, Gareth found his sweatpants he was wearing that day, stole the crystal, and he went that night out to pawn it off, and he has his first payment for Old Sal. Okay, chapter 16, back to present day, we've got Ryder. Ryder are my favorite chapters.
I love Ryder.
Ryder and Leon, because they've got such quotable... Anyways, so Ryder is in combat class. He's beating up Eugene Dipper, and after he was done that, he got repaired with Elise. Now, apparently Ryder has been thinking about how he's going to punish her for her rudeness about the orange soda, and how she bit him after he vision fucked her. Also could be interpreted as, like, Vision sexually assaulting her by anyone with a brain. So, like, maybe she was justified in that, but he can't let it slide, right? So his way of punishing her was to not beat her bloody, but to test her like he'd wanted to, sending her a vision of her chained up in a leather thong that he, like, wanted her in. And we're going to skip the details, but he is testing her to see if she likes pain in the bedroom. And let me tell you, she passes.
Yeah.
Flying colors.
He's a sadist, she's a masochist. It is the S&M couple made in heaven.
Yeah.
Or hell.
Yeah. Probably hell.
Probably hell.
Yeah. So the vision broke, and Ryder is, like, kind of surprised about the vision breaking. Like, he doesn't know what happened. But also, when the vision breaks, he is surprised, because normally he doesn't move when he's conjuring visions, but somehow Elise and Ryder, like, Ryder is on top of Elise right now. And like, almost as if it was real. And the reason the vision ended up breaking was because Dante is beating the ever-loving shit out of Ryder being on top of Elise in real life. They have a little argument about neither of them being theirs. I don't remember if it's right now, but at some point they do, like, a pinky promise to, like, for neither of them. I think it's later, but this argument is
null and void eventually.
Yeah.
Because they decide to do the logical thing and just let the girl figure it out.
Yeah. So after dinner, moving forward, Ryder is sitting in the stairwell of the dorms so that Elise would have to pass him, because he wants to run into Elise. And he daydreams about how the Lunar Brotherhood doesn't kill their enemies, they obliterate him. They, like, hack them to bits. He's just daydreaming about
murder.
Lovely thing. But also, apparently, there's, like, a woman's voice who haunts Ryder, and that one says, pain is your friend. So there's, like, this woman, right? And he's, like, flashing back to a time where she said, pain is your friend. Show me how strong you are, Ryder. And this memory involves Ryder being in a box for 3 days with the woman, like, casting water into the air hole every hour. And that's, like, why he hates rain now.
Yeah, we're going to learn really quickly that the broody bunch over here are fucking traumatized. And then the not so broody bunch over there have really well-functioning families.
Yes.
That love them.
Yes.
Yeah. Unconditionally.
Yeah.
Not so much over here.
No. So he's, like, sitting there plucking his thumb with a razor, and when Elise comes, eventually, she's like, hey, can you stop? You're getting blood on the floor. And Ryder responds to this by offering her a very exclusive and elite spot in his gang. VIP offer, never been done before. And she's like, no, thank you.
Still not interested in the gang.
Yeah. And he's like, well, how can I make you mine? And she's like, can't be owned. And also, I tend to go for guys with more depth than you anyways. And so Ryder actually sends her a vision of his own childhood. There is a memory of like his father actually being really nice to him, like loving him potentially. And also, he accidentally shows her a vision of the woman and him in the box and him like screaming. So he finally gets out of the vision, super embarrassed by the vulnerability that he just sent Elise, and he walks away.
Ryder's childhood's coming back to me right now, and it'll actually only gets worse from here.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay, so chapter 17, Elise. This is after the whole, like, vision or whatever. But she is occupied with other things right now. Elise is on a mission to find the black card. And Lainey helped her pick them out of the crowd. And apparently, like, once you saw them, it was pretty hard to miss them. They were in, like, black robes and stuff. It was, like, weird. So it does turn out, though, that this cult is not easy to penetrate. They did not want to talk. They were not open about the drugs that they were taking. So she goes to the same guys, the Kipling brothers, that Ryder got the orange soda from, and she gets kind of immediately sad because she has no money to buy them. Like, they're like, are you Ryder's girl? Because if you're Ryder's girl, I'll just give you one. But, like, she's not, and she says no, and she can't buy them. So Gabriel shows up, and beside her, and she gets mad at him, and he's like, you need to do a better job of staying away from me. And it's like, dude,
you appeared here.
And then Gabriel just leaves. Okay, moving on. So she asks the guy about a Killblaze seller, and they make a deal. So Elise has to help them with a shipment of goods coming in that night, and she'll get the name of every Killblaze dealer in the academy. So Elise then wants to go talk to Ryder about the vision, and she walks over to No Man's Land and, like, makes contact with Ryder to come, like, inviting him to, like, come talk to her. And he just shows her a vision of him covered in blood and screaming fuck off to her. So he has no interest in talking about the little vision that he just sent her. So as she's walking away, Gabriel just lands right in front of her. Again.
Instigator.
Yeah. The ground beneath her trembled and she fell on her ass, and then a torrent of water crashed into her. She got him with air that cut his arm, and then Gabriel iced her hands together and then flew away. So Lainey came up to free her and was like, damn, how do you have this much going on with, like, all four of the most dangerous people at this school? And Elise, like, realizes Lainey is her friend.
Yeah.
Elise is making a friend. And to which, no one's surprised. Elise hasn't had an easy time making friends in the past.
No, and she's also, like, not really, she's a little preoccupied with the 4 douche canoes.
Right. So this is, like, kind of special to her. Anyways, it's the night now, and Elise is going to help out with that shipment for the Kipling brothers. As she's headed out, she's thinking about Gabriel and how she's been dreaming of their night in the sheets. She's also thinking about how much she hates him, but she would definitely sleep with him again if he wasn't such an asshole, and this is a whole thing. But she's also very guarded about this because, like, if you remember, her mom, stripper, loves way too much, has been heartbroken so many times. Like, Elise does not have an interest in repeating her mother's mistakes, and so is very cautious about this, right? So as she's sneaking out to go help the Kipling brothers, Dante catches her and asks her why she's sneaking out. And she, once again, is like, well, this time she's actually like, well, I'm hooking up with someone. And Dante's like, great, I'll come with you and rip his penis off. And she's like, okay, fine, I'm doing a job for the Kipling brothers. And that was also a mistake because Dante's like, great, I'm in.
Yeah, let's do this. That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, but, like, at the end of the day, Dante was going to find a way to come with her.
Yeah, he's going to follow her.
Yeah, because we do not respect people's privacy.
No, or boundaries.
So she seems to agree with the fact that he's coming with her no matter what, and decides there's no point in fighting, and they go. So what she was supposed to do was distract Professor Mars, who was doing, like, nightly rounds, and she had to distract him for 10 minutes. She was planning on doing this big fire, and I don't know when she had time to plan this because it's kind of intricate, but we're not going to ask questions.
Timelines don't matter.
No. So she plans on doing a big fire. So Dante actually kind of ends up being a really good addition to this job because she like couldn't get the match to light, so he helped with lighting it with his electricity. And she found a spell to burn specific parts of the grass and ultimately makes a huge penis in the burnt grass. And then also, like at some point in that day, cast a spell under the grass so that it doesn't regrow. And obviously, this supposedly like 21-year-old gang boy thought that was very funny.
Well, he did talk about his dick with Ryder for like a solid 10 minutes without Elise even being there.
He thinks the penis is very funny. They then hear Professor Mars behind them, and they're dying laughing, and this actually kicks off this, like, really cute little montage of them running away from Professor Mars. Like, he's fighting them with water, they're fighting them with their air magic, because they both have air magic, and Elise, who has vampire speed, could have just ran out, but she, like, decided to hang back with Dante, because they were, like, running away. It was kind of cute. It's cute. Yeah, it was fun.
It's some good bonding moments that they're going to need to have to make this romance make sense.
Yes, because, like, they had their little prank. Like, I love a little romance prank. I think it's cute.
Yeah, and it's not a harmful prank.
No.
Unlike some people's pranks.
Yeah. So Dante eventually leads them into a corridor, and Mars does not catch them. And so much adrenaline, so much sexual tension here, right? It was all pent up from the chase. They get all sexy. She ends up sucking blood from his thumb, and before it can get further than that, she says, race you back to the dorms, and obviously, like, by the time he gets back, she's in bed, like, sleeping.
Yeah.
Pretending to sleep, but, like...
I love the way she plays with these men.
Yeah, yeah.
And starts to play them off of each other.
It's arguably a little bit too much, but...
Yeah.
I mean...
She does torture them a little bit.
Patriarchy, right? Am I right? Okay. So she's pretending to sleep under her duvet, and as she rolled over, she found a piece with a list of names of the Killblades dealers, which is why she did the job in the first place, and a thank you note from the Kipling brothers, basically being like, we hope to work with you again in the future.
Oh, I forgot there's 3 Kipling brothers. Mm-hmm. For some reason in my brain there's only 2, but there's definitely 3 of them. Yeah, they show up a lot into the future.
Yeah, I think they're a fun little addition.
They're real fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like great weird.
Yes. Okay, chapter 18, Leon's perspective. He is eating strawberries fed to him by Mindy's. Of course. He's also listening to another Mindy read him her horoscope. And that says because of a new Libra in his life, his libido is extra high. And he had to go to Potions today because he has to do something very important. He is going to ask Elise to the spring formal. Yeah, and you know what? Internally, Leon is like, I've had enough Mindy's. He is all in for Elise. And when he got there, she was sitting beside Ryder. This is a fun little potions class. So that day in Potions, they're learning about a cure to fabulosis because left untreated, it can kill within the week. The potion they were making is called Spear Sign. Principal Greyshine also comes in announcing another situation where Eugene got stuck in his Fae form, which is a Tiberian rat, and he was accidentally flushed down the toilet, and he's still there, so just a PSA to not try and pee for the next little while. So that's lovely.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Where Eugene goes is wild.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. And in, like, Leon's internal thoughts, he's like, man, that guy's got to be more Fae. But yes. Leon is still, like, oddly protective of the situation because he knows that it was Bryce who did it. And so he lights Bryce's chair on fire. So he's still kind of, like, actively is like, hey, fuck you, Bryce. But also, like, Eugene, like, pick it up.
Yeah, Leon, he's a teddy bear.
Yeah. Yeah, and so reminder that Bryce is Ryder's second in command, and he tortures kids. So Leon's like, screw you.
Bryce is an asshole.
Yeah. So Leon decides that now, while Bryce's chair is on fire and, you know, everyone's dealing with that, he walks over to Elise and Ryder, I guess, and Ryder and Leon get very mad at each other. And Ryder even goes as far as to call him Simba. Because apparently Disney is...
Well, they still do have a connection to the real world, like the real world.
Yeah. So He calls him Simba, but Leon lets slip that him and Elise made out, and Ryder gets very mad. Not like tantrum lose control of your order mad, but
No.
he's like broody boy glare for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, Ryder has like a modicum more control.
Yeah. So then Leon gives Elise a chocolate bar because he ate most of hers the other day and tells her to come to the spring formal with him. And Ryder's like, no. And that causes Elise to be like, well, hold on, I can make my own decision. Thank you very much. And then Gabriel's like, did you just ask Elise to the school formal? And then she's like, hey, dude, get out of here. But Leon's like, wait, is she saying that sexually? Like, what happened there? And then Dante comes over and is like, hey, did you ask Elise to the ball? And they start, like, fighting over each other. Gabriel's like, don't go at all. They're just trying to fuck you anyways, and they're probably only gonna get disappointed. And, like, that's kind of a huge dig for someone who just fucked her. Like, basically saying, like, all these guys are just gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
By fucking you, right?
But Ryder knows already he won't be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So she's like, well, maybe I want to fuck a real man, basically admitting that her and Gabriel slept together, and all of the other guys are, like, chiming in on this, and eventually she's like, yes, Leon, I will go to the, like, spring formal with you. You asked me first. Everyone's upset, except for Leon, obviously. So, great. Okay, quick flashback with Gareth. So, 17 months now before the Solarid meteor shower. The Lunar Brotherhood are having a party at the Ironwood on the outskirts of the Academy. Apparently it's a recruitment party for the most part, but it's also just like a fun party for people to go to. They throw a rager. And Gareth wasn't actually planning on joining a gang, but it meant that he had to go to the Oscura clan's plans next week to make sure he doesn't show favorites. Tonight, he does have an agenda to ask Ryder Draconis for work. The Crystal had secured his first payment, but if he didn't get consistent income to make Old Sal's demands, he, like, was gonna get screwed, and Elise was gonna have to go strip for a living. So he's gonna ask Ryder for work. Also, Cindy Lou came to the party, and he wants to see Cindy Lou. So Gareth goes with Leon, who has all of his Mindies, who he will absolutely never get tired of. He tells Gareth as much. He's like, I'm never getting tired of my Mindies. So, which obviously just happened.
It only took 17 months.
Only took 17 months. So Leon finds a group of girls immediately, naming them all Mindy, and Gareth spots Cindy Lou. He asks her very awkwardly if she'd like to hang out, but there's some guys who call Mindy's name, or not Mindy, Cindy Lou's name, and come over. They're obviously super high on Killblaze, trying to get Cindy Lou to come with them, asking them if they want to blaze. So obviously they say no. This is like, we're getting that Killblaze is basically like the fentanyl or heroin of...
Yeah, it's hard drugs. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a party drug.
No. So Cindy Lou and Gareth start hanging out, and this is just, like, not the same Dante-obsessed Cindy Lou we've come to know. Like, she's flirty with him, she's nice.
Yeah.
It's weird. They also make out a little bit, but she does eventually excuse herself to go check to make sure her friends weren't dying on Killblaze. And Gareth is like, you shouldn't go alone, I'll come with you. And she's like, no, stay here. Weird. Like, they also seemed really aggressive and stuff, so, like...
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's like, okay, well, you know what, I gotta go talk to Ryder anyways. This proves to be quite difficult. Ryder is sitting on a massive throne made from a log surrounded by his men. So the big, meaty man who's guarding the situation is like, not anyone can talk to the king. So they're arguing. Gareth is like, no, I gotta talk to Ryder. And Ryder actually comes, looks at Gareth, sends a super aggressive, violent vision of Gareth, to Gareth of Ryder beating him up. But he agrees to 1 minute. Gareth is like, hey, I want to do work for you. And Ryder's like, are you interested in becoming part of the Lunar Brotherhood? He's like, no. He's like, well, no. But Gareth has a good point here. He still gets turned down, but Gareth is like, well, there's got to be a lot of things that it's difficult for your guys to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not allied. They'll never suspect me. But Ryder still turns him down and says no.
Yeah, they're very secular when it comes to that.
Yeah. So he does plan to try the Oscura clan the next day. Now, back to the present day. We're going to pause after this chapter before part 2. So, Elise is on Devil's Hill with Lainey and Lainey's friend Daniel eating lunch. Elise is getting more friendships. She's got 2 friends now.
Yeah.
And it's actually cold out, so they've created this little, like, air hot bubble with Lainey's fire magic and Elise's air magic. And both Lainey and Danielle are sphinxes, and they're both, like, replenishing magic by reading. Love that.
Oh, yeah, the sphinxes are a really cute order.
Yeah. But because Elise is also kind of like an isolated order, they're all kind of just comfortable to sit in silence, and this is really good for Elise, right?
Because Caleb goes on a rant about this, where like they actually need alone time or quiet time to be happy.
Yeah. And she's been really social lately. Daniel's also working to ask someone up to the dance, probably Lainey, but he's like not telling Elise who it is, probably because it's Lainey. I don't know for sure.
And Lainey's hella gay.
Lainey's gay, so I don't know. We don't really know who's Daniel's trying to ask. But Elise was spending her time trying to decipher a sketch Gareth had drawn on the maze, but she couldn't get through. Like, there's a maze, but no matter where she goes, she can't get through the maze. Like, the maze is broken, pretty much. Underneath the maze, it says, "Pay for passage with blood." Guess who sneaks up behind her as she's doing this? The very man who keeps telling her to stay away from him.
Bird boy.
Bird boy. It's Gabriel. And she's like, "Hey, why are you always sneaking?" And I am not kidding. She literally asks Gabriel, "Why are you always sneaking?" And he responds with, the best of things move on swift and silent wings. Look closely, dear, and you can have it all. But beware, my love, for even angels fall." Which makes absolutely no sense to anybody. But she does reference, like, even angels fall to her tattoo, which she's like, it's not weird that he knows that.
Yeah.
He saw me naked, so it's fine.
That's there.
Yeah. So she gets all flushed and stuff, stutters over her words around Gabriel, and I quote Elise's internal dialogue, "Finds her balls lurking in the back of her purse and strapped them on to face against Gabriel." Okay. And she's like, "Well, what's that supposed to mean?" And he's like, "Made me think of you," and brushes his hand across her under boob, which is where the tattoo is. And she gets all hot and is annoyed about him making her feel like a totally different person, but is also annoyed that he continues to be an absolute dick. And listen, she stands her ground, and I respect that about her. So he's like, "Why did you get those words tattooed?" And she actually almost lets slip that it's because of her brother, because Gareth used to call her a little angel child, and the quote just seemed to fit. But remembers, obviously, that nobody in the school is supposed to know about Gareth. So she, like, shuts up and just says it's personal. And Gabriel makes the comment about how it's, like, kind of like his. Like, he's like, "It's kind of like my tattoo." And he got it because he had a flash of the future holding hands with the woman he loved with that tattoo on it. So that's why he got it. And he's like, "Whoa, it's almost like they match."
Which they do,
I guess. So, like, whatever. But this is weird Gabriel behavior, obviously, because it's like, "Stay away from me. I'm trying to make this girl hate her." So Gabriel also alludes to the fact that he knows that she will eventually tell him, like, he's seen it or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Fuck you, I make my own fate," and all of that stuff. And then Gabriel gives her an orange soda because she shouldn't have to want for everything, and then she leaves. And so we're like, oh, well, that was nice of him. Super weird. Except he had, like, shaken the orange soda really hard, so when she opened it, it sprayed all over her. And then he goes, "I needed to remind you that you can't be panting for me like a bitch every time I show interest in you, and you need to stay away." And she's like, "Fuck you, I'm done, whatever, I don't want to be anywhere near you." And he gives her this, like, ominous, "Good, let's hope you keep remembering to hate me like that." And this, like, orange soda situation, I guess it reminds her of home. She loves orange soda. It gives her good memories. And it reminds her of her mom adding glitter to her thong while shouting out pop quiz questions over the breakfast bar while Gareth answers them, and her laying on the couch watching trash TV with an orange soda in her hand. What a nice memory.
Strippers.
Yeah. So this is what causes Elise to start, like, crying, is the nostalgia of it. So she starts, like, running off so that she can cry not in anybody's like view, and also she doesn't want them to think it's about Gabriel.
Yeah. Because it's more about Gareth.
Yeah. But as she opens the doors to the as she opens the door to the dorms, she barrels right into someone. You have a 1 in 3 chance of getting this right.
Dante!
It's Ryder!
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you guess Ryder, you get a prize.
Oh, yeah. I don't have the book in front of me. I just was too busy playing with my dog's lips.
So it's Ryder that she runs into, and in a big, dangerous tone, he goes, "Why are you crying? Who hurt you? Tell me who hurt you." And she's like, "Leave me alone," because she also doesn't want him to start prying about Gareth. And he definitely and absolutely does not listen to her when he says that. So he picks her up and takes her directly to his room. Turns out he has no roommates. We know this because he stole Gareth's room and took the room for himself.
Yeah.
So,
and no one wants to share with weird sex snake boy.
Yeah, exactly. So he has no roommates, and he's like, "Well, you wanted alone and quiet." And now they haven't. Now, okay, Elise and Ryder have not talked since Ryder showed him the visions of his like traumatic childhood.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so the first proposition that he makes is because she took some of his pain the other day, he wants to take some back. No, yes, she could have just left, but instead she stands there and says, "Don't." So it's like kind of like if you don't leave, the don't is like.
Yeah, you've also kind of engaged in a S&M scene with him where you're going to have to start negotiating boundaries, which, don't get me wrong, does not happen.
Yeah.
Bad BDSM etiquette.
Yeah.
But she can still leave right now.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like kind of toying with his powers. He wants to use them on her, but she's a little bit worried because she doesn't want him to see Gareth. But as Ryder touches her, it awakens all of the pain and suffering and misery in her body, but it also somehow feels really good. Ryder was absorbing all of the pain, and he's like intrigued about it, and he's like, "What have you lost to make you feel pain like that?" And they actually start to have this very intimate moment. Obviously, Ryder likes to take her emotional pain.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's how his order restores pain. And Elise kind of liked the acknowledgement that Ryder was, like, considering her broken. Like, she was like, "I am." Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of healing for her to accept the brokenness in her.
Yeah, because I think the Basilisk is somewhat Siren-esque, except with only 2 feelings, not all of them.
Yeah. And it kind of allows her to take control of the pain rather than it being in control of her, helps her cope with it. And he says to her, "To everyone else, you're like this perfect little doll, but I can see how fractured and torn apart you are inside. I can see the cracks in the perfection. I can see the poison that's tainting your essence, and every break, every scar and burn and fissure in your soul only makes it more beautiful, only makes you more perfect to me. This pain is strength. This agony is beauty." And the end of this, he obviously tells her to be mine again, and once again, she's like, "No, I'm not anyone. I don't want to be caged. I want to be free." And he reminds her that if she lets go, he can show her true freedom. And they get into like such a moment where their 2 hearts literally beat as one, like they're in sync, like it's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Elise is saved by the bell, though. Because, like, once again, Elise has to tread very carefully because even kissing Ryder
dangerous
is a total betrayal of Dante.
Yeah.
And so she can't really do that. So she's saved by the bell. It got them out of sync, and she stopped to wonder if the man who took her pain away was the same one who caused it.
Ooh, deep.
And she let him take a lot of her pain, but she also kept some of it with her because she didn't want to hide it from anyone. She leaves, and afterwards, Elise is headed to her liaison session with Professor Titan. She'd already been skipping her counseling sessions, so like she's like, "I should probably go to this one."
Yeah,
maybe.
one of these needs to happen.
Yeah. So Titan has been doing some reading on vampires so that he could be prepared to help her. And he said that she would have been paired up with a vampire teacher who had been teaching at the school, but that teacher is no longer here. And he kind of like starts stuttering about what happened. It turns out that teacher was having relations with students.
The one rule.
That is the one rule.
One rule.
Don't fuck your students. So that teacher is not around anymore. Probably got power shamed.
They definitely got power shamed.
Yeah.
The consequences for fucking a student, we're going to learn about those eventually, are wild. Like, wild.
In university.
University. They are all consenting adults.
Listen, I understand the power dynamic. Like, I've learned a lot about power dynamics and where you should and shouldn't. Like, I get that. It's not right. But
it is not a criminal offense.
Considering what else is allowed in these books.
Yeah.
Insane.
Wild.
Insane. Anyways, Titan brings up the vampire code, and we learn that Elise only sort of understands the vampire code, but she doesn't really care and like bother to keep herself that accountable to following them. Like she's like, yeah, I kind of know it. Like I probably shouldn't be like hunting much or whatever, but like I'm not. Who cares? You know?
Yeah.
But Titan is determined to help her to be able to feel good at school and wants to help her out. He, like, seems genuine.
Yeah, I can't remember much about Titan, which probably means he's fine.
Yeah, he seems, like, really genuine. I like Titan. So, her Miss Counseling sessions with Miss Nightshade gets brought up during this. And Elise is actually upfront with Titan about how, like, she's a total nosy bitch, and she totally abused her power to steal the information about grief from her. And Titan's like, actually, I kind of agree with that, but tells her not to tell anyone he said that because he shouldn't be saying it. But he does make a deal with Elise. Like, he's like, okay, I will talk to Miss Nightshade about boundaries.
That's a foreign concept.
Yes, but if I do that, you actually have to go to them. And he also kind of like, he's like, actually, I have some experience dealing with grief. I used to have a daughter. And he's like, you actually remind me a lot of her, and maybe that's why I've, like, taken such a liking to you. And Elise is like, okay, that's probably, like, the best offer I'm gonna get. I will go back to counseling. Yeah. And she also, like I said, has a bit of a plan to go back to Miss Nightshade, especially with, like, Ryder's, like, situation with lust and pain. Because those are some of the strongest emotions, and she can just hide behind some of those. So the last few action items that Titan gives Elise is that she needs to find a source. She's like, I would love Dante or Ryder, but like they're more powerful than me, so that's never gonna happen.
Also, cranky bitch boys.
Yeah, but also that she needs to find some more time to spend alone because they're solitary creatures, vampires, and she definitely needs to do that.
The dorm room situation in this one probably not helping either.
No, and like at Zodiac Academy, they all get their own dorms.
Yeah.
Here they don't. That's where you kind of start to see the differences.
Yeah, they're packing 4 of them, 3 to 4 of them into a single. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's
and apparently,
a lot.
Like the co-ed of the dorms are supposed to help with them not having sex.
Okay. Bottom line, you're in a dorm. You're having sex.
Yeah.
There's no stopping it. Anyone who thinks you can stop it is an idiot. Even if you have them, all this, if it's an all-girls school, they're still banging. Just saying.
True. So true. Okay, we are going to break there. We are just over 50% of the way through book number 1. Stay tuned for part 2. That will be coming next month.
So excited.
Okay, thanks again. As always, remember to like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We love watching them, looking at them, and reading them, and responding to them.
Bye.
Bye.